You said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Backstage with Al and J. Are you ready?
You what?
And now, your host, Al Silva.
Who? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to you live from... Well, I'm always coming to you live from Michigan. That's where I live here. That's just how it be. But another show, another day. And guess what? Guess who ain't here? That's right, Jason. He ain't here. Are you Jason? No, I'm not here. No, he's not. Where is he? Where do you think he is? Guess it. Walmart. That's right. That's right. They're like, we got him still. We still got him. So he's at Walmart. No Jason today, but... I just had too much to talk about, and this is what happens when I don't do a show because Jason ain't here. Then the next time I get Jason on, I have double the amount to talk about, and then the next thing you know, it's a 5-hour episode. I told you people, I'm really trying to get this down to an hour and a half, 2 hours max, and there's just been so much going on, so I was like, bro, I cannot not do a show tonight. So we'll get right into it. Let's go ahead and get right to the pregame, and I'll tell you guys what's been going on here. It's time for the pregame.
No! What are you waiting for? Do it!
All right, so what's been going on with me lately? So let me start with this last weekend, or I don't know, it was Tuesday. I don't remember. What's today? When I get to my second story, you're going to be like, oh, no wonder your head's a whole blur, because I'm telling you guys, it's been absolutely nuts. So I got invited. I went on Facebook, right? You know, I'm scrolling on Facebook, trying to give my boy Mark Zuckerberg some, pennies or whatever, just because that's just a platform that works. It actually works pretty well. I know everybody hates on Facebook, but it does all right. And anyway, I scroll, I see an ad, and it says, hey, do you want to come to a free viewing of this movie called The Baby Boomer Dilemma? And there's going to be free popcorn, a free drink, and chance to win gift cards. And I said, well, this was literally last Saturday. I said, well, I'm not really doing nothing. Free movie, free popcorn, free drink, chance to win some gift cards. And I was thinking, I mean, there can't be too many people going to see this movie as The Baby Boomer Dilemma. I'm like, what the heck is the dilemma? Turns out it's retirement, getting ready for retirement. So it's about financial literacy. I said, oh, you know what? Why not? But I was obviously not thinking as much for the movie because I know most of you guys are like, I would have never seen a movie like that. But I was thinking for the content, doing it for the views, right? Going up there, bringing my camera, bringing a microphone, and trying to talk to people, just making it a video. And so I signed up for it. And, they had to confirm, are you sure you're going to be there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And then the day before, they're like, are you really, really sure you're going to be there? I said, I promise you I'm going to be there. I actually signed up for 2 tickets because I wasn't sure if I could take somebody. And nobody ended up wanting to go. At the last minute, Mario was like, oh, maybe I'll go, free movie, free popcorn. But then at the last minute, he's like, it's going to be pretty boring. I said, it probably will be pretty boring. I didn't want to drag somebody if they didn't want to be there. So I went by myself. And I walk in, I got my I got a handheld tripod. It's like first it's a selfie stick, and then you go, and now it's a tripod, so it's legit, right? And so I walk up to the desk, and there's a gentleman, and then there's this beautiful woman. And the gentleman, he gets up, and I go to the woman, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be seeing this movie. She's like, oh, what's your name? Oh, okay, I see you on here. You said you're bringing a guest. I was like, oh, they ditched me at the last minute. They're like, oh, it's no problem. Here you go. Here's your free drink and popcorn ticket. I said, oh, sweet. And I was like, hey, I'm a bit of a YouTuber. Would you want to say like a 30-second little bit about like what this movie's about or what's going on? And she was like, oh, not me. I don't know. Maybe Todd over here might want to say some few words. And so then, it's in the beginning, so it's a little chaotic. And she's like, hey, Todd, this guy wants to know if you can interview him on camera or whatever. And he's like, why? What's going on? And I was like, oh, well, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm just trying to make this a video about today, the experience, going to see this movie, blah, blah. He's like, not right now, but maybe during the movie. when things had died down a bit or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I kind of wanted to watch the movie. Why would I come out during the movie to talk to him? So I was like, what about after the movie? He's like, yeah, after the movie. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I sit down and, because honestly, the line was like super long for the popcorn and drink. So I was like, I'll sit down for a minute because that's what the lady suggested. Probably just take a few minutes, sit down, and then come out in the line shorter. So then I'm just recording little bits. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to make this video because honestly, I knew nobody was going to watch it. But once again, it's like practice makes perfect. You think you just wake up in the gym one day and you're like, oh, I got muscles. Or you think you go to the basketball court and you're like, oh, I'm popping threes. No, you go to the gym and you shoot threes. You go to the gym, the other gym, the basketball court, and then this one's a muscle gym. And you work out every day, okay? That's how you get the muscles. That's how you get the threes. So I got to record videos. I got to talk to people. And this is what I learned is the hardest thing. I was just telling Mario about this. The hardest thing about being a creator, a content creator, or in my case, like getting out and wanting to talk to people, physically talk to people. Because honestly, like what we're doing right now is like guy in front of a camera in his room. Bro, this is easy. This is nothing. This is literally nothing. Like I came home and I went plug, click, play. Here we go. We stream. Bro, for me, this is breathing air. I do no work. It's only when my friends want to come over or I got to have this person Skype in or that or blah, 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 and there's this whole... Just me, I can record infinite amounts of footage. This is nothing to me. But then when you go out in public, now it's a whole different thing. And I was telling Mario, it's like, oh, it's just, I couldn't quantify it before that movie showing. And I was like, it's weird asking people if they want to be on camera, right? It's weird asking people like, hey, I'm recording a video. Do you want to be in it? Do you want to say a few words or whatever? And I didn't know why it was weird because I'm like, it's not weird for me. It's not weird for me to ask people or talk to people. But it wasn't until I did that thing because then Todd, when I was like, he's like, oh, what's this for? I was like, oh, it's I just do a YouTube channel. He's like, oh, do you have like credentials or something? I said, oh, no, bro, it's just me. I'm just getting started, whatever. But I got these sick-ass business cards. These business cards make me look so legit, bro. I guarantee, like, anybody out there, if you're a band, a musician, an artist, anything, you're any sort of thing, and you're trying to get people to do whatever it is, go to your website, come see your show, anything, bro. You need business cards. You need business cards. This is the legitness, is the business cards. So anyway, I realized what it is you have as a small channel, less than 200 subscribers, it's like you got no authority. You have no, you know what I mean? It's like if you had 500,000 subs, you'd be like, oh, would you like to be on, it's like a privilege for them. Would you like to be on my channel? Oh, why? Because that's the first thing they ask you is, oh, how many subscribers you got? And so when you're like me and you got like no subscribers, you're like, oh, I got like less than 200, but I'm just getting started. You know what I mean? So it's like, it just makes you feel like you're nobody. You're a nobody. You're nothing. Why are you talking to me? Versus when you have a presence and you have authority and you have all these subs, then you go up to people, hey, you want to be on this channel? Oh, why? How many subs you got? Oh, 500,000. Damn, 500,000. This boy's legit. It creates legitimacy, and therefore it gives you confidence. And so but the problem is, you don't get to 500,000, just like the gym, just like the threes. You don't get to 500,000 subbies without putting in the work at 100 and 200 and 500 and all that stuff. So I know it's just something I got to do, especially in the beginning where it just feels weird and awkward. Like, hey, you want to be on my channel? Oh, how many subs you got? 200. Makes you feel like a little beep. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you're just not cool enough yet. But I won't be cool enough unless I keep going. So then after the film, I was like, oh, I'm going to try to interview a few people. And like nobody wanted to talk to me. All these older people, they're like, But what's funny is these kids came up to me. And they were like 8th and 9th grade, right? And they're like, hey, I want to be on camera. All the kids, no matter where I go, when I do these films, videos, YouTube stuff, it's always like the kids, teenagers, the little kid, all of them. They love it. They understand it. It's because they've been grown in this present. It's the older people my age, above my age, the elderly, like they're just like, what's going on? No, I don't want to be on that. The kids are running up to me. It's so funny. So these kids run up to me. And they're like, oh, you're doing this for YouTube? What are you doing? I said, I'm just talking to people. They're like, what's your channel about? I'm like, just about talking to people. Like, honestly, that's all I do so far. And they're like, oh, yeah, can you interview us? I was like, yeah, I can interview you. And I'm thinking I didn't have like a theme. Usually I have a theme. You know, I went to Chicago. What motivates you? Or I'm going to a food place. We're trying something out, whatever. There was no theme. So I was like, I don't know. I was asking people what motivates them. So maybe I'll ask you guys. But what was funny was I first started with just a big old group of them. And there was like 4 of them. I think there was a gaggle. And I'm just like, what are you here for? And they're here to see, I think it's called Dog Man or something. I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, how'd you like it? And whatever. So I'm just talking to them. So I'm going to post this video in like a week or so where it has no theme. It's just like, I don't even know what to name it. It's like, what are the kids up to these days? Or something like that. I have no idea. But for them, for their sake, because they were so excited about the video that they were in, I'm going to just post a video that's about me talking to these dudes. And so that was just an awesome experience. But then they get done with me, and I already told them. Because they asked me, how many subs you got? And I was like, less than 200. Less than 200. And they're like, oh, that's cool, you know, whatever, you're grinding, you're putting in the grind. I said, thank you. They started going up to other people, and they're like, you don't know that guy? You don't know that guy? He has 1 million subs. And I was like, don't tell him that, bro. People are going to be so disappointed. But they kept going up to people like, you don't know that guy? And what was so funny was, it was so sweet. It like literally melted my heart. This little kid comes up, and this is after, so I've walked out of the theater, and I've done a little, like, the last minute thing for my video, like, all right, I'm leaving the Imagine, thanks for everybody, blah, 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 and, you know, I'm out, bye, right? Shut off my camera, and this little kid comes up to me, and he's like, excuse me, sir? And I was like, yeah? And he's like, are you famous? And I was like, I'm pre-famous. I mean, if you add me now, you're gonna be one of the OGs. And I hand him a business card, and he's like, thanks. And then, like, I don't know if it was his sister or somebody. It was a girl around his age, right next to him. Never said a word, right? And she's just standing there too. And I was like, oh, here, you can have a business card too. And she's like, thanks. And I was like, did you guys want to be on a video? And they were like, no, we got to go watch the movie, whatever movie they came to see. I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe next time. And so I thought that was like the cutest thing, bro. All right, sir, are you famous? Not yet. Pre-famous. Add me. It's like preloading or pre-ordering. You know what I mean? Like pre-order me now. So that way in, I don't know, 5 years, I don't know how long it's going to take. You got to put in the grind. But at some point, hopefully get in that grind work. So that happened to me on Saturday, and I just loved it, bro. It's like, every time I do one of these talking to people, and I've already told you guys, what's the purpose of this channel? I just want to talk to people. I just want to get to know people and spread some positivity. And man, I don't know. I just genuinely like talking to people. And every time I have one of these experiences, it just reinforces like, yeah, this is what I like to do. This is what I want to do. This is fantastic. Like, it's so good. And I watch a lot of content. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube about how to be a content creator, how to grow, how to build your brand, how to do all this stuff. And it's like the core piece of advice is like, you need to specify what your niche is. You need to get niche down. You got to, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what is the niche. I don't know what the sliver of space I'm supposed to occupy is, because I just don't get that yet. And I think I won't really grow until I get that sliver of space. Like the one lady's example was, she thought her channel was going to be about motherhood. And so she's making videos about parenting, and then she was a new mother, so it was like breastfeeding, cloth diapers versus that, and she's doing all these different videos that all fall under motherhood, thinking that was like niche enough. But she's like, no, you got to go further. Like, in order to drive to be like an authority in a space, you need to be specific. So she was like, I should have picked one thing. I should have picked parenting. I should have picked, or all about, I don't know, breastfeeding and different alternatives for that if you can't breastfeed, and just go into a sliver of space, because that's where all these content creators are seeing the most growth, is when they have like a very specific niche. Like, you can't just, the people, like, for example, gaming channels, right? You can't just like, I game, what do we game on? Everything, anything. It's like, okay, I mean, it's not saying you won't grow, but pick a game. right? Pick a game. What is the game you do? Oh, I don't know, Pokemon, one specific game, or I play Grand Theft Auto 5 or whatever it is. I pick a game, and then I grind at that game, and people, because they came and they saw, oh, I like that video he did about Pokemon or Grand Theft Auto or whatever your niche is. Then when you release more and more videos, the same people are more likely to see all your videos versus one person likes one video and then you do kind of a different topic and a different person likes that different video, and it kind of weirds out the algorithm. So the goal is to get anybody that watches your stuff to watch almost all of your stuff, and that's how you can grow really fast. So that's the problem I'm going to have, but all I know is I just like talking to people. So then I had this other opportunity came up, and I'll just put it on the screen here. But this just happened in Canton, Michigan here. I'll throw it on a bigger screen here. They just opened the second Raising Cane's in the whole Michigan, the whole state of Michigan. And I'm not from, I was about to say, and I'm from the South. You know, I'm not from the South. I'm from Michigan. But I was doing some time in the South. Not time as in jail or prison. I was working down there, is a long story. Anyway, but when I was in Texas, I experienced Cane's, and it was fantastic. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell is this place? They said, we just do chicken. I said, just chicken tenders? They're like, yeah. And fries. I said, well, those are the only things you need. They said, well, a couple more things. We got this bread and coleslaw. I said, bro, I love fries, chicken, coleslaw. I don't know about bread, though. Why would I get bread? I was literally writing off the bread. Then I got one of them breads, and I took that first bite, and I was like, oh, the soft, buttery, good. Bro, even the bread at Cane's is fantastic. You're thinking it's just bread. No, it's beyond bread. They should call it Beyond. Well, no, they can't, because then people will think it's like plant-based meat. But it's really good. So they just opened this Raising Cane's in Michigan today, in Canton today. And so I was like, you know what? I should go there. I should go there and talk to people, see what's up. I didn't honestly think it was going to be like that crazy. I thought like, because they were grand opening this morning. This morning they had one of the Detroit, I think they only have one punter, but the punter of the Detroit Lions, they came at like 8:30 in the morning. They did gift card giveaways. I think it was the first 25 people got free Raising Cane's for a year. And what that really means is like one free meal every week for a year. But regardless, that's still a fantastic thing. So I was like, man, I kind of wanted to go this morning, but I didn't wake up like really early. I would have had to wake up like ridiculously early. And I was like, bro, that ain't going to happen. But this was this morning. This video footage, you're thinking this is from now. No, this is from this morning. These were people waiting well before it opened because they wanted to be one of the first 25. And obviously, you can see how long the line is. Everybody beyond that was like, well, I'm not first 25, but I'm still getting in this building. But then, get this. I get off of work at 9 o'clock. I'm telling you, or not 9 o'clock. That would have been crazy. I worked 9 to 5. I got off of work at 5 o'clock. And then I met this guy from Facebook Marketplace that sold me this really cool double guitar hanger thing, side story anyway. But then after I went and met with him, I shot out there to the Raising Cane's, and I'm telling you, it was nuts. I didn't cut you out of the vid, Abdullah. I did not cut you out of the vid. That's a separate video. I promise you. The one video was about the movie, and then I'm making a whole separate video about you guys. We got one of the dudes in the chat. Whole separate video just dedicated to you guys. You guys will be very happy. I had to make money with the advertisement video and then the fun videos with you guys. So anyway, I go to Cane's, and at this point it's like 6 p.m., bro, because it took me over an hour to get to this place. As I'm pulling up, a mile down, cars, brrr, and I'm like, there's no way that's for the Cane's. As I get closer to, because I'm like, I'm not going to wait in that line. I'm going to figure out what's going on first. So then I'm just passing this mile long of cars, right? And then I look, and then you start seeing the parking lot, and it's not just a little Cane's. This Cane's is located on this big old strip section with like a Lowe's and all these things. So you can imagine a giant parking lot. The whole parking lot is mazed of cars. Cars. The parking lot, beyond the parking lot on the other street, it was like cars. There was so many. I've never seen a line that long in my entire life. And I've seen Chick-fil-A's open. I've been to some Chick-fil-A's open. And it was the longest line I've ever seen in my entire life. I said, oh, damn, it's going to take me like 2 hours to get through the Cane's line. So I said, I'm not going to wait 2 hours in the Cane's line. And so I said, you know what? Let me see. Maybe I'll sneak around. So I tried sneaking around. And then I saw a bunch of people parking at Lowe's, like a little far away, and then walking over. So I said, oh, that's secret tech. So I parked at Cane's, or at the Lowe's, walked over to the Cane's, and I had my camera on me and I had my microphone. And it's cold, bro. You people, if you're not in Michigan, you do not understand how freaking cold it is. The temperature says 24 degrees, but I guarantee you it feels like negative 50. There was times last week and the week before where it was like -5. I don't know what it is. I'm not a meteorologist. I just feel like it's colder right now than it was when it was -5, and I don't know how that makes sense. When am I gonna drop that video? Give me like a week. Give me like by next week I'll have it dropped. By next week I'll have that video dropped, and everybody will be in it. It'll be fantastic. So just give me a week. And so, like, I was like, bro, this is going to be nuts. But I just ordered these brand new gloves. I was so excited from Amazon. I said, ooh, I can either order these $25 Arctic Chill gloves, but they were like massive gloves. It made it look like maybe your hands wouldn't be able to move so well, but probably warm. And then for half the cost, there were these gloves that looked like a little more nimble, but they said they were like, ooh, ultra cold. You're going to be able to survive in the winter. And I said, okay, give me the half the cost gloves. Let me try them out. So this was the first opportunity for them gloves. When I was wearing the gloves this morning, I said, oh, they're so warm and nice and comfy. Wow. And you can use your screens on them. It's fantastic. Wow, I'm going to give them 5 stars. $10? What a deal. I get to Cane's. It's cold as hell. I'm waiting in line. My hands were freezing through the gloves. They were freezing. It almost felt like they were better off without the gloves. I took off the gloves. I was like, why do my hands feel warmer without the gloves than they do with the gloves? They went from a 5-star not only to a 1-star. I'm thinking about just returning them. It's been like less than a week. I hope I can return these gloves because they did not help. It was so cold. So I get into the line, and the line is wrapped around the building for people waiting physically in person, but that was still 10 billion times shorter than the car. But there's a trade-off. You're waiting in your car. It's all nice and warm and toasty. Ooh, I could wait for 10 hours in a nice, warm, toasty car. You're outside. It's freezing. So I get in line. I bust out the camera and everything, and I just started asking people. I'm like, hey, I'm doing a YouTube thing. Do you want to say a few words for my YouTube channel? And to be honest, most people, because like I said, the younger generation, people like below my age, like I feel like I'm right in the middle. I'm the threshold, the mid-30s, right? People above my age, they're like, bro, no. I don't want to be on camera. People below my age, they're like, yeah. So I just started going up to it, and I told there was a set of 3 girls, and so they might be watching this either right now or later. Because everybody I talked to, I gave a business card. That's why you got to have the business cards. This is legit, bro. This is the best thing I've ever bought was the business cards. Because everybody I talked to on camera, they said, oh, what's your channel name? I said, oh, no problem. Here, take a business card. They're like, oh, business card. Let me scan the QR code. It has all my links. So I'm talking to these 3 girls, and they ate Cane's in Ohio before, but the other Cane's that's in Michigan is all the way in Lansing. So like this was a lot of people's first time either in Michigan or first time having Cane's at all. And so I was like, hey, I want to go interview more people. Could you save my place in line? So shout out to those girls because they were like, yeah, no problem. So then I just started going up the line, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this YouTube channel. And most people were like, yeah, I'll say a few words. So I got like probably, 15 different video, like shorts worth of videos. And so I'm waiting in line. I'm talking to all these interesting people. It's just fantastic. I can't wait to release that video too. And it's just getting colder and colder. And the line's like barely moving. Like I measured it. Every 2 minutes, the line moved 2 feet. 2 minutes. 2 feet. And I said, bro, there's no way there's no way we're going to be here for like 5 hours at that rate. You know what I mean? So I was like, this is crazy. I said, I'm going to give it another 30 minutes. As time went on, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a combination of like, and I feel like I eat so, now I was telling Mario, I think I have an eating disorder because I feel like I eat so much now. Even if I don't, I just like when I do, I'm like, oh, I'm so full, I'm stuffed. And so I'm like, I don't know what it was. Was it the freezing cold? Was it the fact that my fingers were going to fall off? Or maybe I hadn't drank something in over a couple hours or something, or I hadn't ate since lunch, or I don't know what it was, but then I started getting woozy. And at this point, I was more than halfway into the line, so I was already waiting there for like an hour. I was in line for an hour in the freezing cold, literally, and I've had Cane's before, and I love Cane's. It was nothing new. I wasn't like, oh, I got to try Cane's for the first time. I was literally doing it for the video. You know what they say, do it for the gram? I was doing it for the video. I was just going to be there. And then plus at that point, once you wait for an hour, well, then you might as well finish it. But the problem was I started getting lightheaded. And I don't know if you guys have ever passed out before or thrown up or whatever, but there's like these signs that your body gives you where it's like something's about to happen. And so like usually, and this is a warning sign, so now you'll have it in your head for the next time you go to throw up. The first sign that you're about to throw up is your mouth will start salivating. You'll start salivating on the inside, and you're like, oh, why am I getting extra saliva? It's basically your mouth is getting lubed up to get some stuff out of there. And so, like, I started salivating a little bit. I was like, oh, no. I know this feeling. I've thrown up too many times. I was like, oh, that's not good. So I sat down, right? Sat down on the curb. And then I was like, bro, I'm so close. At this point, I was in the front of the building, 50 feet away from the door. Now, mind you, I would have had to wait inside the Cane's too, but once you wait inside the warm, it's like, who cares? So I'm in front, and I'm like, no, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. So then I sat on the curb for a little bit. The line moved up a little bit, 2 feet. I got up. I started waiting. Next thing I know, I'm getting lightheaded. And I was like, oh, no, I'm literally about to pass out. It was that feeling that right before you drop. And I said, what the hell is happening to me? What the hell's happening to me? I was like, no. I can't. I got to finish this video. I started this video. I've been waiting here for an hour. There's no way. So I sat down on the curb again. Sitting down made me feel all right, but I still was kind of woozy. And so then the last time I got up, and it was a double whammy. It was like, I'm salivating, I'm lightheaded, like everything was, and I was like, oh no. If I pass out and hit my head on the damn concrete, you know what I mean? It's just going to be such a... So I said, damn. All right. And, because I'm trying to vlog this whole thing. So I'm just telling the vlog, I'm like, all right, guys, I can't make it. Like, I'm literally about to pass out. I'm going to have to come back to Cane's like tomorrow or something. Like, you can't leave the video on a cliffhanger like that. Like, oh, what's Raising Cane's? And yeah, I'm interviewing people, but it's like at the end, I have to eat the damn Cane's so I can be like, oh, wow, it's so good. Or maybe they screw it up and I'm like, oh, this Cane's is the crappiest Cane's in the whole Midwest. Or I don't know. That's the closure you need with a video like that. So I got to go back because I left. I freaking left. And so I'm making my way to the car and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to, how am I going to drive home? How am I going to make this? I was so woozy and just, I was like, oh no. So I said, you know what? It's probably a combination of the fact that my fingers felt like they were just complete icicles. Like it was just, they were going to fall off at any moment. And probably the eating and probably the lack of water. Like just, it was a maelstrom of bad news. So then I go to the next door. Guess what's next door? Arby's. Guess how many people are at the Arby's? Nobody. Nobody was at the Arby's. I felt so bad for them. Not a single car in the driveway. Not a single person in the lobby. Nobody, bro. So I pull up. And normally I would have made that content too. Put the camera on in my car and go, hey, Arby's, I decided to come over here because I felt bad because everybody's at the Cane's, But I was so out of it and like literally about to throw up and pass out that I was like, can I get... I don't know, bro. I couldn't even think straight. I was just like, a chicken nugget meal. And I got a chicken nugget meal. I've never had chicken nuggets at Arby's. I've never had chicken. It was just the first thing I was thinking. I was like, chicken nuggets. Let me get some chicken nuggets. So I got some chicken nuggets, a Diet Coke. And I was like, all right, maybe they'll be. So then I'm driving home. And as I'm eating the curly, first of all, Arby's, shout out for the curly fries. Underrated. Everybody's like, oh, what's the best fries? Is it McDonald's? Is it Wendy's? Arby's is sitting over here with curly fries, people. They're literally their only place with curly fries. And they're seasoned, and they're always crispy. Arby's, shout out for them. And so I'm eating my curly fries, and I'm eating their chicken. The chicken's actually good. It's crispy. It's real chicken. It ain't processed pink goop like McDonald's is, even though McDonald's pink goop tastes good. But it was just a great meal. And as I'm eating and driving home, I started feeling better and better. I said, oh, man, that's probably what it was. I needed something to drink, I needed something to eat, and I needed to warm up because that was killing me. I almost died at Raising Cane's. Maybe that's the title of the video. You know how everything's clickbait these days. I almost died at Raising Cane's. I don't know. It was just a giant hassle. Checking out the chat. Oh, my dad's in the chat. Welcome. Cheyenne's in the chat. Welcome. Abdullah, Mohammed. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Those were two of the dudes I was talking to at the movie theater. Just so funny, bro. I can't wait to release that video. I hope I recorded everything because there were so many times where they were just talking to me, and I don't even know if I was recording. Like when they asked me who had the best fit, they were like, "Oh, who has the best fit?" And I'm looking at them, and like 3 of them are wearing the exact same thing. 3 of them are wearing these like, I thought they were sandals or something, and sweatpants and a zippy or something like that. And I was like, well, considering 3 of you are wearing like flip-flops and that kid's wearing shoes, I'm like, I think the kid in the shoes. And they're like, oh no, these are Yeezys. They were like Yeezy flip-flops or something. I was like, oh, that don't matter to me. That don't matter. The shoes look cool. I was like, plus the guy with the shoes was wearing a hat. And I'm over here wearing a hat. So I was like, I don't know, man. I think it's this guy right here. So that's so funny. I can't wait to release that video. It'll be fantastic. So that was my experience at the movie theater. That was my experience at Cane's. I had a lot of cool people at the Cane's. So maybe, I handed out a lot of, I was thinking like, man, I should have brought 100 cards because I probably passed out, I don't know, 30 or 40. Because then I was talking to like a group of 5. It'd be like 3 dudes and 2 chicks. And I'd be like, what's her name? Boop, 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 boop. And I was like, I'd ask them questions. And so every time it feels like I have to have like, there's the momentary question. Like, obviously we're at the Cane's, like, how long you been waiting here? You ever had Cane's before? What are you expecting, right? And then the thing that hit me to ask at the end was, if you could say any one thing to the world right now, what would you say? And so that's what I started asking everybody as I was doing the video. So I was like, I do my little interview, and if you could say anything to the world, the whole world right now, what would you say? And some people were funny because it was like, I don't know, something crazy, like just ridiculous. And then some people were like super genuine with like some really, really like philosophical, great things to say. I was like, it was a wide range of answers. So I said, oh, that's good. I almost think that almost might be the video capper for any video I do. It's like, okay, what motivates you, whatever it is, no matter what the video is. And then at the end of it, for additional content, I'd be like, if you could say any one thing to the world right now, what would you say? Because honestly, the variant of answers is nuts. Like, because some people were like, skip, whatever, skippity, and then some people were like, never give up on your dreams, or like whatever it was. I was like, wow, that was really good. So I had a good time at the Cane's, even though I was literally about to pass out. I'll have to go back to Cane's. I can't go tomorrow because tomorrow I got a church class. And then Thursday, I might be able to go Thursday. I got band practice Thursday, so maybe I hit the Cane's on the way to band practice. So that way I can have closure with that, because I can't imagine that the Cane's is still wrapped around the whole parking lot built 3 days after grand opening. And what was so funny was I interviewed one of the workers. She was coming out of the building, and I was like, hey, would you mind, can I interview you just for my YouTube thing? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, how crazy it is in there? And she's like, I mean, it's pretty busy. I was like, is this the craziest thing you've ever been a part of? And she's like, no, I've seen busier. I was like, busier than this? Like, are you insane? Like, I've never seen busier. I've been in the restaurant industry for over 15 years, bro. Grand open stores, and even just went to other stores that were grand opening that weren't Little Caesars. And I'm like, this is literally the craziest thing. But whatever that, I should have asked her. I said, what else was it? Maybe she's grand opened a different Raising Cane's and it was chaotic. But from my impression and what she told me, she said the operations were smooth on the inside. She's like, oh, everything's smooth. Like, if she was going out to take a break, because it's so smooth. Everybody's just doing their jobs. And like I said, it was like clockwork. Every 2 minutes, boop, 2 feet. 2 minutes, 2 feet. So they had it down, but there was just, I would have to assume, hundreds, if not thousands of people trying to get canes. So hopefully by Thursday that stuff dies down, and that'd be fantastic. At least I didn't poop my pants. Exactly. Because it was like, when you have, I don't know, if you people have never passed out before, you just don't understand the lack of body control that you feel. Like, oh man, am I gonna fall? Am I gonna throw up? Am I gonna poop my pants? You don't know. You literally do not know what's gonna happen because your body, it feels like you're losing control. You know what I mean? And Chick-fil-A was ringed around all day. See, this is the thing. I went to a Chick-fil-A for a grand opening, and Chick-fil-A is so smooth. It was like, it wasn't every 2 minutes. It was like they were, I remember being in my car, and they had, double drive-thrus, first of all, and they're walking with you. The line didn't stop moving. It wasn't like, oh, stop and go inside. It was like the line kept going. So you're trying to order, and this person's walking next to you like, oh, what do you want? Oh, number one, and you want tomatoes, blah, blah, blah. And they're walking with their tablet like the line never stopped. It was insane. So Chick-fil-A got like the operations down. And what's funny is they have a very similar model. Because Chick-fil-A, what do? Chicken, sandwiches, chicken nuggies. I mean, they just do chicken. It's just like Raising Cane's. It's the same thing. But Chick-fil-A just, maybe they have that drive-through process down more. I don't know what it is, but Chick-fil-A was way smoother than Raising Cane's. But then again, when I went to a Chick-fil-A grand opening, it wasn't the first one in Michigan or the first one in a whole side of the state. So that could be the difference maker. Once you've been to like a Chick-fil-A in Texas, and just because there's a new one, it's like, oh, who cares? Or I think I went to a new one in Ohio. I can't remember. I've been to actually a couple. And so, I don't know. I think that's how it was. Chick-fil-A was definitely more prepared than Cane's was. But Cane's probably just had more people, so they just couldn't help it. So that's how the last couple days of my week have been, which has been awesome. It's been an awesome last week. I can't wait. And what was crazy was the story about the baby boomer dilemma video that I went and the whole thing that kicked this off. I get done, and I'm talking to those kids doing my video. I have this on video, and Todd, the owner of his company is called ABB Wealth Strategies. And he comes, and he's the one that rented out the movie theater, paid for the free movie and everything. He comes up to me, he's like, hey, did you end up recording my whole speech? And I said, yeah, I recorded the whole thing. He's like, oh, I'd love to be able to get that video. And he's like, can I get a hold of you through, because I already handed him a business card when I first got there. That's probably how they thought I was legit, because they got the business card. And he's like, I can get a hold of you through this? And I was like, oh yeah, all my links are on there, no problem. And yeah, I can get that video to you, no problem. And he's like, yeah, and maybe we can talk about getting together. Like I got more events coming up, just we can talk about what your pricing is and all that good stuff, and just go from there and stuff. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, Todd, I appreciate you so much. It was so awesome. And the kids next to me, they're like, oh, you're getting money. It was so funny. Those kids are so sweet. And so I was like, oh, I got a business opportunity. Taking this random chance to go see this movie about old people's retirement that most people would have just been like, why would I see a movie about old people retirement? But I just took a chance thinking, shoot, it's video content. Let me just go record some video content. And now it's going to end up to be business opportunities. So now the thing is, he said, let's talk about what I charge and blah, blah. So now I got to come up with what I charge. That's the hardest part, because I remember having this teacher in college. I can't remember what his name was. Jason might remember it. I think it was Mr. Nick. I can't remember. I know exactly what he looks like, though. And he would always tell us these stories because he was like a freelance IT network administrator sort of thing. So he got paid per thing. Companies would hire him in to fix something, or companies would hire him in to set something up, or, he got one-time payments for doing this thing. And his big thing was, you never want to leave money on the table. And so when you tell somebody a price and they agree to it immediately, your price was too low. If you tell somebody a price and they're like, yeah, that means they were willing to go higher, because if they would have not been able to meet that demand, they would have been like, oh, I can't afford that. Could you do blank, right? So you always want to shoot for more. And there's a book about this. Like, I think Donald Trump read it as like the art of negotiating, the art of the deal. I can't remember the exact. I think it's called The Art of the Deal. And it's called The Big Ask. And so all these financial, philosophical, they mean the same thing. Shoot for more, you'll get less. And so, but there is a threshold. You want to shoot for more without being like egregious, where it's like, oh, yeah, you're 200 YouTube subscriber. How much do you charge? Oh, $1,000 an hour. He'd be like, bro, are you retarded? Come on now. This is stupid. So I got to have that fine middle ground between wanting to get enough money to cover what it should be and not putting too little on the table where I could have got more. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, well, how long did that video take to like edit and all that good stuff that I posted? And it took about, realistically, probably 8 to 10 hours. And so I talked about this one time where I'm like, it takes for every 10 minutes or for every minute of a video, because you got to do like this, the editing, the cutting, the titles, the transitions, the voiceovers, the graphics, the sound effects, all that stuff. For every minute of video, it takes about an hour's worth of time. So if he wanted me to do the same video again, and let's say it takes 10 hours from start to finish, and let's say at bare minimum I charge $20 an hour, because that's what I was charging for these one-off little, hey, I'll make you an up to 60-second ad, $20, and I did like 3 of those. So if I did $20 an hour, 10 hours, that's $200. $200, okay, I can see that being like a fair rate, but then that's not counting like me going to the place, bringing equipment, recording that stuff. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I feel like I should say showing up with the equipment, better equipment now, because I didn't know I was going to be recording him in a darkened theater. So the video where I'm shooting him like doing his speech, it's in a dark-ass theater. I got my iPhone with a lens attachment, which doesn't get as much light in. I would have gave him a lavalier so I could hear him really. I would have done a bunch of stuff different if I knew he was going to be paying me to do this. So, and that's what I told him in the email. I was like, hey, here's the video I shot. But like, honestly, next time, if I was knowing that you were going to want me to do this, I would have brought lighting. I would have put a lavalier on you. I would have done a lot of things different. So look forward to hearing from you, blah, blah, blah. So I think I should say $500. $500. I show up to your event. I record everything. I interview people. I take it back. I edit it. I chop it all up, give you the goods. One big package. Here it is, $500. And I think that'd be fair, which would honestly be sick, because that'd be like my first like true sponsorship opportunity. Like the video I posted, I put sponsored by that guy simply because he paid for the movie, paid for the popcorn, paid for the drink. So on a technicality, yes, the video was sponsored by him. And I wasn't trying to make it about anything, so that's why there's like a 6-minute ad right in the middle for just him. Because I'm like, this video, I didn't make it for the audience, for you guys, for me. I just made that video for him, just so I could be like, oh, I could do something like this. And the video was rough, but it was like, I was not prepared for that to be a video. I was just kind of messing around. And so I hope that leads to a lot more opportunities, which would be fantastic, because that's exactly what I want to do. Get paid to do what I love versus to get paid to do something that stresses me the hell out every single day. Every single day. Because this is a different kind of stress. It's like, oh, I got a lot of videos to edit. Oh, I got to go live at a certain time. Oh, I got to make sure I respond to everybody's those are different stress. This is good stress. It's like, I like doing this crap. Versus you go to work, you got to work for some other dude. And you got to like working for some other dude doing the way things he wants you to do stuff. And it's just a giant, it's like, no, bro. Because how many times have we talked about this where it's like these people, if you don't enjoy who you work for, it really doesn't matter what you do. Because at the end of the day, you're working for them. So it's like, it's not that if my boss, he's never watching this thing, but it's not that I don't like him in particular. It's just the business, the strategies, the decision-making, the culture of it's like everything about it, okay? I know that might even sound worse, but that's just how it is, bro. It's just like, I just don't enjoy it. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. I'm just making it by. I'm making him money. I'm getting my job done, but I am not fulfilled. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be like, yes. Like when I went to Raising Cane's, even though it was negative a billion degrees and I'm dying over there and I'm talking to people and I'm fulfilled. I'm like, yes, this is amazing. I love this. And then I go to work sitting in my temperature-controlled office at my desk where I have 4 monitors and it's all easy peasy and I'm just like sitting on my ass and I'm like, this sucks. And I know for most people, they'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. temperature controlled office sitting in your lazy boy chair with the 4 monitors doing that, and that sucks. It's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. It's a fulfillment issue. It's different. I've never had this before. I always used to hate on Little Caesars because like it was a hard job. It was a lot of work. I put in a lot of hours at the LC. I used to actually have like at least a bare minimum, like a tally of like hours totality I was putting in. I can't tell you how many years I worked a minimum of 70 hours, but realistically 80, 90, and then all the hundreds that I put up. And it's like all the years I put in all these hours, it was stressful. It was hard work, like very demanding physically, but I enjoyed the premise of what Little Caesars is, if that makes sense. Because as somebody that grew up with not a lot of money, and understanding that this pizza is cheap, right? People always shit out, it tastes like cardboard. Okay, it does. Name another pizza that's $5, bro. They're not. And so there's people that come in to that business and they say, man, I only got $5. I remember being there. I only got $5. What can I get? Oh, I'll get a pizza. And so they want something good for the little amount that they have. And so I felt good about that company's brand. Essentially, I felt good about the message. Like, we do value food for people that can't afford too much. I disagreed with like everything beyond that, all the aspects of the business and the decision making and the leadership and all this other stuff. But I at least got the brand. And I said, yeah, I can get behind this. They put out this marketing. It was internal marketing one time. And they said they weren't ever going to release this to the customers because they weren't sure how the customers would take it. But they did it internally to the company to say, like, what do we do? Why do we do what we do? And everybody in the company was like, that is such a good message. You need to put that out there. And I don't think they ever did, or at least they didn't before I left. But they got with this marketing company and they said, analyze us. Analyze everything about us. Analyze our operations, our procedures, our culture, our values, our model, everything. Analyze and then come up with a message that what are we about? And they came back and they said, your message is you want to be a hero. Be a hero to these customers that can't afford too much. These customers that scrape together their change to get that one pizza dinner for them and their kids, and they never get to eat out. They never get to have that awesome experience of having fast food or just having something that was beyond the sloppy joes they eat every single day, and they come home with that one $5 pizza. You are a hero. You're making them a hero. You're a hero to them. They're a hero to your family. And we're all like tearing up. We're all like, oh my goodness, that's like the most, like we're helping people be heroes. They're freaking heroes. We're like, this is amazing. And I was like, that was probably the proudest moment I had at Little Caesars was once we got that branding and we're all standing behind that we're like, yeah, hell yeah, cheap as hell, because that's the people we're trying to work with. We're trying to work with the people that can't afford much. We don't give a shit about the multimillionaire that goes to Pizzapopolis and spends $60 on a medium-sized deep dish pizza. Who cares? We're doing it for that single dad that he makes $200 a week, and the one time a month he can go out, he gets $15 worth of food to feed his 5 kids. That's what we're doing it for. And I was like, man, I got that, bro. So the work, oh, man, I was literally at the end of my Little Caesars tenure in Texas, I was breaking down physically. I couldn't stand for long periods of time. My back felt like I was missing a vertebrae in my spine. Every single day was crank. And I was in a high position too. Like I was literally running the whole Texas operations. But I would still be in stores cranking because I'm either teaching managers or managers quit or I had to fire some or whatever it was. So I was cranking every day. And what I mean by cranking is, oh man, we got to do 15 batches of dough. Oh, and then we got to make 20 stacks of sheet outs. And we got to make 400 pizzas after that. And there's 800 customers coming in. And yeah, you got people, staff. But for the most part, in Texas, it was like a giant revolving door. So it's like you always had newbies you had to train. And newbies aren't good. Like we all know that nobody's good when they first show. So it's like you have to basically put the store on your back. And literally, it was crushing me. No matter where I went, I was like, and so towards the end, luckily, I was like getting things situated and people in places, and a lot of training was done so people could be better. And so then towards the last few weeks, I just sat down every day. I'd come in, I'd do a little bit, and then I'd be like, all right, guys, I'm sitting here. You go. And then I essentially became brains and with a mouth. I was like, all right, somebody go do that. Somebody else go do that. Like, honestly, that's what a district manager, a regional director, these are the type of things you should be doing. You should just be pointing and telling. But Texas was it was a very tough one. It was tougher than any of the Michigan operations I've ever been in. Whole different bag of worms working for a franchisee. And I love Neil. Bro. I still talk to Neil to this day. I know Jason's been like, no, not Neil. Not Neil. I don't want to hear about Neil. Neil's my boy, bro. Neil, if you're watching this, I love my boy Neil, okay? He really treated me like family. In particular, me. I know like other people that be like, oh, Neil this, Neil that, or whatever. Okay, that was you. For me, Neil brought me to his house. His family cooked me food. Like, it was awesome. Like, he was fantastic. He was fantastic to me. Not to everyone else. He was kind of like F him. Like, that was kind of his attitude for a lot of things. But for me, he took care of me. So I appreciate Neil. And he called me a few months ago, and he was like, hey, I bought I can't remember. It was like 8 more stores in Dallas. And just wondering if you wanted to come back. I was like, Neil, no, bro. No, I can't. This is like a double whammy because, one, I don't want to go back to Texas and have to like leave my kids and travel too much. But two, it's like I just knew how much work it was. Like it was a lot of work, guys. You just don't understand the back-breaking amount of hours and labor that it was, especially in a new market. Like when you take over new stores from somebody else, you know you're not taking over great stores. Nobody's selling, oh, these stores are peak and all the operations are great and the crew is great. I'm selling them now. It's like, no, these are the crap stores. We got to get rid of this franchisee or whatever it is. It's always a bad situation. So I was like, bro, it's probably so much work. But I appreciated the fact that he called me and asking about that because it would have been cool. I told Neil when my kids are grown up, and they're off to college. You know, they leave the nest, they're off to college. I said, I might come back. Neil. I'll see what you're doing then. And he's like, he told me, he's like, I hope to God I'm still not running these damn Little Caesars in 15 years or whatever. At that time, it was like 15 years. He's like, I hope I'm still not running these damn Little Caesars in 15 years. I was like, oh, no, Neil, what are you talking about? You should have like 100 stores by then. Are you kidding me? So I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that. But so that has been my week in a nutshell. That's been the pregame. We're going to move on to Insano World, or this week in Insano World. Boom. All right, so this week in Insano World, it's honestly been quite crazy. I'm going to start off with this thing that I saw. I actually saw this after. It was like the day after. I didn't even hear about this, but honestly, the Monday I took off the day sick. It's like I've been wanting to do this for over a month now, but every day I've been completely needed, either training a newbie or doing something. So I'm like, oh, I need just a day to. And you're thinking, well, don't you have the weekends to do? But my weekends are so jam packed. I'm like, I need a day to just sleep. So Monday I could not sleep, and I don't know what it is, people. I haven't been able to sleep in weeks, and it's not like I'm not going to bed on time, whatever. I'm going to bed on time, and I'm waking up like every 3 hours. Every 3 hours, I'm waking up, and I go, oh, what? Oh, no, it's 3 o'clock. Oh, no, it's 5 o'clock. I just keep waking up. I'm having dreams. I'm clearly deep dreaming or deep sleeping. I'm having these dreams, but the dreams they're so intense. They're waking me up, bro. It's nuts. And so I haven't been able to sleep really good. So I took off Monday, and I didn't do nothing but sleep until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I got up and I started working on that video in my chair until it was time to go to bed. And then I slept, and I was like, that's it. So I didn't see any news, but it turns out, I believe Monday was this U.S. Day Without Immigrants. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it was a day where businesses were supposed to close in solidarity to show that what happens if there was no immigrants anywhere, right? And so I kind of get the premise of it, like, oh, okay, because everything's built by immigrants, but it's like I thought the whole thing they were like doing now was like the illegal immigrants. So there was like day without immigrants. Well, we get immigrants. I mean, literally everybody that's on this continent besides Native Americans, which is a slightly spicy take because even they came over here. I'm just saying. Even the Indians came over here. It's well known they came over here from like the Russian border over to Alaska, came down here, obviously thousands of years ago. But they were like, first, dibs, we got dibs here. And get it. I get it. You call dibs, you got dibs. Everybody else is an immigrant. So we get that. Everybody gets that. But they were like, no. In solidarity of all these deportations, we're going to have a day without immigrants. So all these stores closed, or they chose to close and whatever. And then there was protests that happened, and I'm from Southwest Detroit. I was born and raised in Southwest Detroit, and Southwest Detroit is the Hispanic hub of Detroit. East Side is a little more African-American. Southwest is Hispanic. The white people, they just went, there are no white slices of Detroit. They were in Detroit, and then they got out of there. Now they go to like Taylor, Dearborn Heights. Like they moved outside of Detroit. And so then I saw this on my Facebook feed, which was pretty nuts. And it was the protest that they were doing on the Day Without Immigrants, and they also called it the anti-deportation protest in Southwest Detroit. Let's go ahead and load this up here because it's pretty bonkers. Throw it on the big screen. So hundreds gathered for this anti-deportation protest in Southwest Detroit. Honking. Mexico. And I don't know, my first thought was like, man, there's a lot of Mexican flags out there. They're like, Mexico's so great. We don't want to go back there, though. They're like, Mexico's bad. Where are the American flags? I get it. But I think the message should be American flags. We're not going anywhere because we're Americans and we love this country. But instead, they're flying Mexican flags because they're like, we're not going anywhere. We love Mexico. We just don't want to go there. It's like, I don't understand that quite fully myself. But I get it. I get it. You have see, this is the greatest thing about this country. I'll just let that roll in the background with no noise. That's the greatest thing about this country. The freedom of speech. The freedom of, and in the First Amendment, freedom of assembly. Freedom of gathering and speech and all this stuff. Everybody has the right to really protest what they want, talk about what they want, whatever. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have the right to at least express yourself, freedom of expression. So it's like, I completely understand what they're thinking. And from what I've heard in the real talking to human, not even on this online stuff. Some people don't even talk to real humans. They only see what's online. They only talk to people through the keyboard. Talking to real humans, there is a strong sense of fear out there with the deportations. Because, like, I mean, the thing was, Trump was pretty serious. He's like, hey, man, elect me and I'll start deporting everybody. And then people elected him and then he started deporting everybody. So everybody's like, oh, he's actually deporting people. This is nuts. This is crazy. And he's like, that's what I said I was going to do. And so it's like there's all this fear going on. Like, we ended up having this show where one of the bands dropped out because they were like, hey, man, it's like, it's kind of crazy out there. And, we don't want to get wrapped up into nothing. So could you guys fill in our shoes? And we're like, sure. I mean, I wasn't doing nothing. I had nothing going on. So I was like, yeah, no problem. So we ended up doing this gig on behalf of another band that was just like, they just in general didn't want to be able to, they felt too kind of afraid to go out and about when this whole scenario is going on where, and the fear mongering is almost like, oh, if you're talking Spanish, and I'm talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, it's like if you're talking Spanish, they just snatch you up. You're talking Spanish in Espanol? They go, oh, that's a Mexican, send him back. And I'm like, oh, bro, come on now. Come on now. This is crazy. This is crazy. They're literally not snatching all the Mexicans up. But I can see how, like, it would be scary for these people. But the thing is, it's like I don't know, I feel compassion, obviously, for human beings in general because we're all fallen. We're all fallen. There ain't none. It says in the good book, not one is good. Not me, not you. Think of the best person you know in your life, the goodest, most moral person in your life. You got them yet? They're not good. They're not good. Everybody is flawed. Everybody is fallen. Everybody. At some point in their life or concurrently, it's all bad. Now, some people are better than others. Usually it's like, well, I'm not a serial killer. Well, that's good that you're comparing yourself to the worst thing. Could you compare yourself to the best thing? And then it's like, ooh, well, I'm not that good. Well, you see? You see? So I do have compassion. I have compassion. But at the same time, it's like, how do you do something that is against the rules and then complain that the rules are being enforced? That's tough for me. And I literally know people in my life that, I don't know how to say this else, but like that didn't come here the right way. You know, it's like I know people in my life. And it's like, I get it. Tugs on the heartstrings. Oh, man, I don't want to see grandma have to go back. It's not my grandma. They're unfortunately dead. But it's like, but isn't that the chance you took when you got over here? I feel worse about the people that just got here. The people that like fought and clawed, they just got over here in the last year or two because Joe Biden was like, come on over. We'll get you good stuff. And then they came over here and now they're like, oh, now we got to go back. I feel worse about those than the people that have been here for 20 years, bro. You've been here for 20 years and you never was like, let me get this process going. Let me get these, you know what I mean? Let me get these paperwork going. Let me get this going. You can't say it's money. You can't say it's money, bro. I'm sorry. Because that's literally their number one goal is they make money over here and they send it home. And I get that too. That's so cool of you. Like you come over here, you grind it out, you make money, you send a bunch of it back to your family to help them provide. That's fantastic. But you knew what you were doing when you came over here. I don't understand this. I just don't understand that. So there's a conflict in my heart and in my brain with this whole situation because it's close to me. It's definitely in my own family that I have these experiences, but it's like I don't know. I wish truly if I was the president, if somebody said, what would you do then, Mr. President? And honestly, that was a nickname I tried to implement back in my area supervisor days when I was a multi-unit manager. I said, man, what would be the coolest nickname? Mr. President. I tried getting people to call me. Don't call me my name. Just say Mr. President, because it's the sickest thing. It sounds sick, right? If I was the president, Mr. President, how would you fix immigration right now? I'd say, look, we got to expedite and speed up this paperwork process. There has to be paperwork. There has to be a process. But why does it take so long? Why does it take 5, 10 years? Why does it cost $10,000? Why is it not easier to do? Because it can be easier. And it's not about, because then we'll let bad people in. Bro, bad people are coming here undocumented. So why not make the process easier to document them so we really do know when bad people are coming here and we say, not you. Not you. You go back. The good one, come on over. The good ones, you can come. Yep, come on over. I'll fill out the paperwork, all that stuff. We should make it easier and more streamlined. That's what I would do as president. The people that are already here, I would do something because they're already here. I wouldn't be like, all right, they got to send them back and then redo the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. Because guess what? Sending them back costs money. Our money. You think they're just sending them back like, oh, willy-nilly, like it didn't cost nobody. Mexico's paying for it. No, they ain't. It costs us money to deport these people. So if we're gonna pay the money to deport them, we might as well just pay the money to like figure out how to fix the system, get them through, and then the ones that are like, oh no, they're bad. Oh no, then they gotta go. All the people that got released from the prisons and then came over here from that, they gotta go. Like they don't get to stay here. That doesn't make any sense. But it's like that's what I think it needs to happen. There needs to be a better way. There needs to be a better process, more streamlined, to make it just easier. So that way there wouldn't have to be so many people digging tunnels underneath the damn Rio Grande and doing this and that. Like, I've heard some crazy stories of how people got over here, and it's like, damn, they really wanted this opportunity so bad that they put their lives on the line to come to this country. And to me, those people usually are like the most patriotic people. Because when they get here, they're like, I love this country. This country is amazing. I can do anything in this country. I have opportunity. I can do this and that. It's like those people are really patriotic. They fought tooth and nail to get here. So it's like, I'd rather realistically people not have to literally put their lives on the line so they can cross over to this country. I do want a vetting process, but it's just a fine balance on that. So it's tough. It's tough. But that was just the one highlight. I was like, man, I see a lot of Mexican flags. Where's the American flags? They should be like, that would have been my message. Like, hey, because obviously all these people aren't undocumented. Because otherwise the cops would have been like, oh, this is a parade of the undocumented. Everybody get in the car. It's like these are all actual American citizens that are trying to stand in solidarity with illegal Mexican Americans. But it's like, it should be like, USA. USA is such a great country. We have immigrants here, and we're a part of this nation. That's what the message, to me, should have been about, but I obviously wasn't the organizer. They would have been like, we're not throwing USA flags up here. What are you talking about? That was just my 2 cents for that, which is pretty crazy. Now, moving on a slightly better note, I did see this thing called, and actually I had one more rant that was going alongside of both of those things, split right down the middle. So when I did that punk show, or that show for the makeup thing, it was like this real punk show, guys. I'm telling you, it was like, the punk is punk. Punk. We're just a bunch of punks in a shitty-ass bar doing shitty punk stuff, right? And so I was like, okay, well, we're not that punk. And I say that a lot. It's like our quote, or it's like our slogan. I think our first album title is going to be either Everybody's Punker Than Us, We're Not That Punk, or something like that. It's going to be something along those lines. Because we have a song that I made called Everybody's Punker Than Us, and I thought that'd be a funny album title as well. Because we're just not that punk, and I never was really going for like, oh, we're going to be like the punkest band ever. Literally, I made this band as a avenue for my emotions, and for my feelings, and for messages, and for themes, and stuff I couldn't get across in thrash metal. You know what I mean? It was like I needed something to like get my heart out, and I thought that pop punk was because like I love Blink-182, Sum 41, The Offspring, NoFX, and like I feel like they do a good job of like this balance between emotions and deep cuts and funny and humor and like all that stuff, and it's like to me it's the perfect genre because you can be heavy. There's some breakdowns, there's some solos. You can be really light, really soft, very poppy, very commercial, and there's the whole in between. So we do this show, and honestly, we did a pretty good job. I'll give it a 95 or a 96. Pretty good. And but what was funny was you could tell they were like, "Oh, this ain't punk." Or like, you know what I mean? There was just this hesitancy, but we did such a good job. It was like they were like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But it wasn't until we got done and then the next band came on stage that was like way more punk. They were like, they were so punk. And Mike always wanted to do this, our last bassist. They were like, we don't have a set list. Set lists aren't punk. I remember when I was tuning my guitar in between one of the songs, I was like, oh, hang on a second. Because I knew my E string was, and it's a D string because I go D standard. I was out of tune. I was like, oh, just tune it, right? And somebody's like, tuning ain't punk. I said, I don't want it to sound like shit. You know what I mean? Like, but see, that's the problem. When it's like too punk. Oh, we didn't make a set list. That band played for like an hour. I was looking at Dylan. I was like, damn, it felt like they played for an hour. And they did. They literally did. But all their songs were like minute and a half, 2 minutes long. So they do a song and it's stop. All right. And then they started getting naked. They were literally getting naked. They were taking off their clothes. Like the singer at the end just had underwear on. No shirt, pants, nothing like that. The bassist was butt naked with just the bass guitar covering his genitals. But I could see his ass. That's how I knew he was. I didn't realize he was naked until he turned around and I saw his ass. I said, oh, that guy's naked. And then I got a little closer, and I don't know when the drummer got naked, but the drummer got naked too. The only person with clothes on was the guitarist. I don't know why. He didn't take off anything. He was just playing guitar. It reminds me of what Mario would have done. Like, we would all got naked, and the Mario's standing there with their clothes. But they were just like, it's just crazy, you know, all crazy music. You can't understand shit. It's all high energy, whatever. And at some point, I thought, and I'm pretty sure they did, I think they made fun of us. Of probably me in particular, but like our band, or whatever we did. I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was something about like, oh, we're not gonna call. I didn't even know what the name of the band. This is how punk they were. No set list, random shit thrown, taking off clothes, just fucking feedback everywhere because he kept grabbing the mic like a dumbass, like just all this crazy stuff. And then he's like, oh, well, we're not gonna be calling out our name, and I can't remember, wearing merch like some other fucking guys, like we're punk rock. And I'm like, bro, you know what? This is the thing, and this is probably the spiciest take. And actually, I have really, really way spicier takes. But as far as like in the music scene goes, I fucking can't stand punks, bro. I can't stand them. Because to me, punks, or this generations of punks, let me be clear. This generations of punk, I can't stand them. It's like punk to them just means like there's all these rules. That's the craziest thing. It's like an antithesis of punk. It doesn't make any sense to me, bro. It's like, oh, well, that's not punk. This ain't punk. If you don't dress a certain way, that's not punk. If you're wearing this, that's not punk. If you're saying this is not punk. If you're like this, that's not punk. All these rules about what's not punk. And it's like, bro, isn't that... I thought punk was anarchy. I thought punk was all about individualism and expression of self, regardless of societal norms and rules and form and function. It was just rawness. It was just essentially anything. Punk was open expression of self. And the punks these days are like, man, fuck anybody that's not like this, and that's not like this, and if they're not, and it's like, I can't stand punks, bro. I just can't stand it. I can't. Like, oh yeah, if you're doing a show and you have a set list, you're not punk. You're doing you practiced? That's not punk. Tuning's not punk. You still have your clothes on? That's not punk. Oh, you're wearing a, whatever band shirt you're wearing. You're wearing a My Chemical Romance shirt? That ain't punk. What? You're doing this and that. 4-minute songs? That ain't punk. It's like everything is not punk. Bro, I fucking can't stand punks, bro. I told Mario, because I was like, man, that band was way punker than us. And then the band after this was way punker than us. They were both all way punker than us. I said, I'm gonna make a song that's like the most punk song. It's gonna be just punk, real fast and just aggressive. And I sat down the other day, and honestly, I made it already. I told him, I was like, it's gonna be like a minute and a half, short and sweet. So I made the riff, and I think I have the idea, but I need to fully flesh it out because I'm not exactly sure what the words are gonna be. But I think it's gonna be called "Fuck Punks," and I think if it goes well, they should be like, yeah, that's punk rock. That's punk rock. But I know when we go to play, we'll never play that because Garrett's not going to be able to handle it. But if we ever did play it, I guarantee they're going to be like, oh, fuck us, fuck you. And it's like, yeah, fuck me, fuck you, fuck us all. Isn't that punk? I remember growing up in my early 20s, me and Dylan would go out to punk shows, and that would be half of it was just you yelling at the stage, fuck you, and they'd be yelling back at you, fuck you, and it was just awesome, and everybody's having a great time, and it was like anything goes. It was crazy. It was awesome. Nowadays, they're like, bro, now, you got to follow the rules, man, and all this stuff, and like my dad, you ain't no G.G. Allen? No, they weren't throwing feces or nothing. They would have literally hated G.G. Allen. Because they were like, F bigots and anybody that's a transphobe and this and that. And they just listed like all the things that you couldn't be. If you were punk, you can't be this. All these things. And I'm like, Oh, there's no way I could sing it from the drums. I'm telling you, I want it to be like double time, 200 beats per minute. Like, I want it to be the fastest, most aggressive, just like the punkest thing that's ever happened. But it's a song about how I can't stand punks. That's what it's about. And you'd be like, oh, but you're a pop punk band. But that's why I said pop punk. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the other thing. People hate on pop punk. All the punks hate pop punk. They're like, oh, that ain't punk. That ain't punk. That's some poppy bubblegum bullshit. Like the Ramones didn't exist. The ones that were like the progenitors of punk, the Ramones, yeah, that's pop punk, bro. Yes. Yes, it is. Like, I don't understand. It's like that. I just can't. I can go on to this for like another hour, bro. I really can. But that was my rant for the week. I can't stand punks. I know I'm in a pop punk band, but that's because we're not that punk. Sorry. That's how it is. But we're playing this DRI show that is like the punk. It's like hardcore, underground, dirty ass punk. I mean, it's like. And so when we play this show, I told the guys, we got to come hard set list. No, my dad calls them like sissy songs or whatever he calls them, like softies or whatever. And I told him, I was like, we can't have none of those. We can't play Mine at the damn DRI show. We can't play Waiting. No, we got to go hard. So we came up with a set list and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, what Mario songs are always like the punkest things. Everybody, when we played that really punk show, after mostly my songs, because we didn't play any Dylan songs, right? After my songs, they were like, yeah, oh, that was good. Like, because the performance was good. They were like, yeah, oh, that was solid. After Mario songs, because they were just so straight up punk, they were like, oh, hell yeah. They just love Mario songs. So I know the DRI show, they'll love Mario songs. So I was like, all right, Reflect, it's in. Artificial Taste, it's in. So we got 2. I said, what are the hardest ones we got? Got to bring Stand, Fight, Live Wrong. It's heavy, intense, Dylan song. Plus, Dylan gets to sing it, so it gives me a break anyway. So Stand, Fight, Live Wrong, bring it in. And I told the guys, I was like, we haven't played this one in a while, but it's heavy, and it's good, bro. I love this song. It's called Deception. Deception has this, like, epic build-up, like, almost Terminator theme song intro, this giant do-do-do, do-gung-gung-gung, gung-gung-gung-gung-gung-gung. It's the craziest thing. Love that intro. Goes into the song, and the song has a big breakdown in the middle, and then it comes back to the breakdown at the end. I'm like, bro, it's that one of the heaviest songs we got. So Stand, Fight, Deception, Reflect, Artificial Taste, and then I said, all right, let's do a couple more. And so I said, let's do People Suck, because that one's nice and hard, and there was one more I can't think of right now, and then Garrett was like, he was real upset because he felt like, oh, what about Issues? What about or Baggage or whatever and blah blah. I was like, I don't know, Garrett. I think there's a little too soft. I think they're a little too soft for this gig, bro. I don't know. And then I said, well, I don't know. What do you guys think? And they were like, well, if I had to pick one, they were like, I would say Issues, because it's got that double time tempo, gets the big solo in there. You know, yeah, it's a little bit softer, but it's such a good opener. When we play that song first, it kills. Like, we played it first at this bar, and people were like, whoa. You could just tell. They were like, damn, what just happened? And that was a punk show. So I know it'll go off well. So I said, all right. I said, for you, Garrett. And then Mario and Dylan ended up, everybody voted. And they all said Issues. So I was like, that's okay. I said, let's add Issues, but let's start with it. Maybe we do Issues, then we go into People Suck, so then it keeps the energy going. We go into Reflect after that. Then we go into, and then my cousin, her name's Renee, she messaged me and she was like, hey, I saw your show, loved it. She's like, I love Dirt. I ended up singing along to it at the end because I'm like, I want to hear you guys sing. So she's like, I love that. So she said she was going to try to come out, try to bring some of my other cousins out to one of my next couple shows. I said, you should come to the DRI show because we got to sell tickets for it. So if you guys are going to try to come out, it would be more beneficial to us because we got to recoup that cost. And so she was like, yeah, are you going to play Dirt? And I said, I'll make sure it's in the set list. Like, if I know somebody's coming for a song, like I know my dad's usually like, he's coming to I want to play FTW for him, but it's like, I really want that song to be like on point when my dad comes for it. So it's like every time I'm like, a little bit more work, guys, a little bit more work before we bust that out again. But anyway, so I was like, all right, we'll put Dirt in the set. And Dirt's just, straight up. It's like right in the middle of our tone. So I was like, that'll be a good hard set list. And we're going to then end it with Stand, Fight, Live Wrong as the big closer. Because like, if you play Stand, Fight, Live Wrong, it either has to be first or last. Like you play it in the middle, whatever song goes after it is just like, it after the big ass breakdown of Stand, Fight, Live Wrong, it just don't happen. So it's like that's how it was. And so I was like, all right, that'll be a hard set list. That'll be really good. And then to appease the softies, mostly Garrett and Rachel and stuff like that, then at our March show, we're gonna add like we'll still have Waiting. We're gonna play Mine at the March show. So basically, that's how we're going to appease both sides of our fan base. The people that really like the pop punk, the poppier stuff, at March, we're going to be playing all the goods, Issues, Waiting, Mine, Baggage, all that good stuff. And then in the May show at the DRI, we're going to play all the harder stuff. My dad said, what happened to I Just Want to Die? I don't know why. I love that song. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I guess I'm like the only one that really enjoys that song. And so we're trying to debate on what songs to put in. And, you only get 7 songs, so you got to be really selective. And it's like, well, shoot, man. And like you were saying, it's like you got so many songs, you really got to make sure you're playing like the best of the best and whatever. And so we're like, well, I mean, when you got, we're trying to play People Suck, we're trying to play Issues and Reflect, like all these songs that are just like, okay, that's good, that we're like, okay, well, we got to chop, and it's like we got to chop. And I'm like, I Just Want to Die, it was on the set list, and then it was like one of the first ones that got chopped. I was like, man. And the other problem with that song is they got mostly Mario, but everybody besides me, because it's in my blood, they got to relearn the song. So it's like, oh man, we got to put in this work to relearn this song and to teach Mario the song, or we could do these songs we already know that they felt are better songs, and which in some regards they might be better. I feel like the newer the songs are, the better I am at songwriting. So it's like, okay, maybe they are better. But I told them, I said, I Just Want to Die is the number 1 song across all streaming platforms. It's the number one, and they don't understand. They're like, I don't get it. I was like, to be honest, I really don't get it either. But I understand, like, if it's really about the message and the meaning and the lyrics and everything, then I totally get it. I just wish the recording was that good, because I remember sitting in my car. I wrote that song in 2018 and beginning of 2019, and I made a demo of that song. And I remember sitting in my car in Texas, completely alone, smoking a joint, in the middle of the wilderness, you know what I mean? Because I was on the road. I had an apartment, but I was never there. I had to go from store to store, spending weeks at a time at stores. And so I'm just sitting in a parking lot where I can see nothing but abyss. And I just put on that demo, and I could just feel all the emotions of me writing that song in that vein of like, I am so utterly depressed that it's not an innuendo. It's not a, oh man, I would like to, take a long walk off a short bridge. It's like, bro, I want to die. I want to die. I don't want to be here no more. This place sucks. The pain I've caused, the things I've said, all the damage done. Am I better off dead? I'd rather crawl and hide. I'd rather go back inside. Why can't these people see that I just want to die? I don't understand. And then like the verses are like, basically, it's almost like suicide note. It's like, I'm sorry, right? Like, imagine writing a suicide note. It's like, I'm sorry that I let everybody down. I'm sorry that I can't stick around. I'm choking. I'm drowning. My life is a mess. I'm cutting. I'm drinking. My brain's so depressed. These memories, these things I see. I can't believe who I turned out to be, bro. I mean, like, the lyrics are just like, so I get it. To me, that song's top tier. That song is like absolute top tier. And that was one of the first 5 songs I wrote, and I think it's absolute banger. So what I'm trying to get the guys to do, even though we won't be able to play it at that May show, I want them to at least record it, because we're about to go into the studio at the end of February. with John Michael Barty, and he's going to record us in an 8-hour session. And however many songs we can do in 8 hours, that's what we get done. And so I really just, the core of me wants to get the first 3 and the latest 3. So, like, for sure, they want to do Issues, Mine, and Artificial Taste. Those are the latest 3 songs. And I told them I think we should go back and do the first EP, because I get people all the time that tell me about Dirt. And I love Dirt. I absolutely love Dirt. The second I got done writing Dirt, I said, that's going to be played at a festival for 10,000 people, and everybody's going to be jumping around. Everybody's going to sing. I just felt it. I just felt it in my core. I love Dirt. So I was like, man, we got to go back to Dirt. And then we've updated Baggage. Like, Baggage is like, it's almost a new song at this point. So I was like, we should re-record Dirt, Baggage, and I Just Want to Die, plus Issues, Mine, and Artificial Taste. That's 6 songs. I think we can guaranteed get 6 songs done in this 8 hours. And if we're really good, if we're like really, really good, maybe we get a 7th song. Apparently, the Absentees did 8 songs in the same span. I don't want to push it because they were getting on me when I said this. I was like, because the Absentees do a better job than us. And they're like, no way, no fucking way, no way. I'm like, look, guys, I just calls it how as I sees it. The Absentees, they do a good job. They're tight. They don't have mess ups, bro. Like, they just do a good job consistently. And they were all disagreement. I'm like, you guys are biased. And you would think I'm biased. I wrote all these songs. It's my band, okay? They say I'm more critical. That's the anti-bias. Like, I'm too critical of these things. I said, no, guys, come on. I'm telling you. I can see. I got eyes. I think I could be a producer. And to prove that, at some point, I want to, like, work with other bands that are not even in my genre. So I can produce them, help them be better at their music, better at their stuff, because that's what a producer does from an outside, unbiased perspective. So it's like, man, the Absentees, they're on it. They're on it better than we are. So if they could do 8, we could do 7. We could do 7. So then it's like, what's the 7th song then? What's the 7th song? That's where it gets spicy, because it's like, I don't know. Should we? We're starting already. We're at like 93% with People Suck. Like, every time we play it, somebody's screwing up something. Mostly Mario. But it's like we're pretty close to that. Should we just record People Suck because it's so fresh, or should we record, Deception because we never really got an EP version of that, and it's something that's like on the, I don't know what the 7th song is, but I know for sure I want to do the first EP and then what was already going to be the latest EP, because Issues is something that people tell me. They come up to me, and not only after the show but well after the show, and they're like, Issues, for some reason I get stuck in my head. They're like, I just get Issues stuck in my head. It's just like this catchy melodic stuff. I don't know. They're like, it gets stuck in my head. I find myself constantly saying that stuff. And they say the same thing about Dirt. I'm like, all right, so we definitely got to do those 2 songs. And then Mine, to me, is like the ballad. And that, to me, is like the easy, accessible one. It's so chill. And I want to record that because it's such a difference between everything else. Everything else is either high intensity, or it's heavy, or it's punk, or it's this or that. And then Mine is like the ballad. It's the soft song. But to me, it's kind of a, the grunge is like soft verse, heavy chorus. That's Mine. Like, the verses are super soft. I want to be like, your pitches take me back, and I'm just softly singing. And then you get to the chorus, it's like, yo, stubby. But the problem is, it's always a little more difficult on stage for me to sing and play. And so, but when you're in the studio, you could just sing. So you can sound a lot better. And so I know I can do that song better. But when we played Mine at that punk show at the Outer Limits, I told the guys when we got off stage, I was like, that was the best Mine we've ever done. We were all on point. Nobody screwed up. My voice was on point. Like, I got the choruses out like I wanted them to, because it felt like at the Token, because we just got done with The Kids Aren't All Right, and I was already like, my throat was already giving out a little bit. It felt like I couldn't really push the Mine chorus that you need to. You got to push that chorus full in order to get the effect of, the emotions and how the song was written, how it's supposed to be performed. So, like, I think mine would be a really popular song. I think that I can hear that on 98.7 Alternate Radio. This one's called Mine by Epic Disappointments, and it would be something they would play. Nobody's going to play. There's some of these songs where I'm like Baggage, I cuss, like, I say the F word, like, I don't even know. It's in every chorus twice, I think. And I was telling the guys, do we like just drop out the vocal? You know what I mean? It's like, you ever hear those songs where it's like the clean version and they're like, I always up and I'm never, and they just kind of drop out the vocals? Or do we put different words in? Do we go, I always mess up? It's like, do we literally put in a different word so we can have a radio edit version of it? I don't know. Or is there just not a radio edit version? I don't know. But I feel like every song, you should have a version where you could, if it sounds good enough, you could put on the radio, which would be fantastic. Now, that was my rant, and that was also my tangent about my band recording. And trust me, when I do record, this show will be like the first viewing audience for that. I'll get the songs, we'll sit down, and we'll just let you guys will be the first people to hear it in its form when I have the master copies from the recording engineer, because I think that'll be cool since I actually have the show set up. Usually, I'll send it to Jason, I'll send it to my dad, and they just individually, they have their own experience, and then we'll come together, we'll either talk on the phone or whatever. But I thought it'd be cool to, like, it's almost like we're all in the same room. You know what I mean? Like if we're all listening to it at the same time. Because there's some other songs. All right, one more little tangent. I don't care. It's my show. There's some other songs where I'm like, I don't even know if they're Epic Disappointment songs. I don't know. But all I know is I wrote them, and I like them. I like them a lot. And so I'm like, maybe I should just release them on my online platforms under me. Under, obviously my music channel is Epic D Guy. Literally just release songs, because I made this song called Inside, and I've been listening to it a lot lately. Putting on my head, it's best in the headphones. I don't know if you guys are listening to it just on your speakers or through your phones, but when you listen to it on an actual set of headphones, that's when you get the full experience. And I go, I'm just literally amazed. And I know that sounds, you're amazed at your own song? Yes, you people are blinded by the consistency of what I put around you. If you had nothing around you and this was your first experience into somebody handing you something off the street, you didn't know anybody that recorded music, or you weren't a musician yourself or any of this stuff, and somebody just was like your cousin and they handed you a copy of one of my demos, like Inside, you'd be like, oh shit, who the hell is this? This is what? You'd be like, what? So I'm like, I'm a little biased, but I listen to it, I'm like, damn, that song slaps ass. It slaps ass, bro. The more I listen to it, the more I think it slaps ass. But my band was like, oh, that's too heavy. That's too heavy. You heard Inside, that's the one he was like, it kind of sounds demonic. You were like, it kind of sounds demonic. And you're like, in a good way, it's like Ghost. That was the one where you're like, it kind of sounds like a Ghost track sort of thing. But the one where I'm like doing I have the vocal effect on top of my thing, and it's like, when will I be whole again? And that one's called Inside. And I just think that song slaps ass, bro. I'm like, whoa. But it's too hard for my band. Not hard isn't difficult. It's just like, ooh, that might be literally too metal for us, And so I'm like, what do I do with it? Because it sounds so good. I can't just sit on that and not do nothing with it. So I'm thinking I record a little video myself of just, me playing the song myself and make a little music video, and I put it on Epic D Guy. And I go, Al Silva, Inside. And there's a couple other songs that I've made that I'm like, ooh, I think these go hard. I think they go hard. There's this one song that I'll and so when I get done with the demo, and I should bring Inside. I won't play it right now because I didn't get it ready, but next week I'll bring it up. But when I get done with this other demo that I've been sitting on for a while, because I recorded the instruments a while back, a couple months back, but then I said, all right, next layer is the vocals, the lyrics and stuff. And this song is like, bro, it's thrash metal. It's straight up thrash metal. And I call it United We Stand. And I'm like, there's no way my band would ever play this. It's too metal. It's too metal. So I've made a couple real metal tracks where I'm like, what do I do with these? They're not for this band. But I don't want to just sit on them. And I'm the only one that listens to them. So I figured, you know what? I'll just put them out to the people and let the people listen. And so I had this idea where it's like I started writing the riffs. And when I wrote the riffs and I recorded like the first part of the demo, and this is a lot of times what happens to me with the music when it, and I really would love to make a video course on this, like making songwriting or whatever. So the first thing I do is like after I record like a audio version of it and I'm listening to it myself, I say, what does that make me feel? What is the theme? It's like if I don't have already a theme in my head, but like what does it make me feel? What is the emotion or what is the imagery? You know, I can't, like, what am I conveying in this if I didn't already start with that? And so when I wrote this song, it made me feel like the theme was like the military, and I've had there's chunks of my family that has went into the military, family friends that have went into the military, and I've had tons of friends either from my previous career or just the people that I've known that went into the military. So I do have a strong respect for the military, and I'm like, man, this song makes me feel like a hype song, like a military hype song. Like I remember it was my dad's childhood friend. We called him Uncle Ernie, and he'd be telling me like how they were driving in the desert in Iraq, right? And he's driving these Humvees or 18-wheel. I don't remember what he's driving. And he's like listening to Slayer, like, and that was the first time I ever heard Angel of Death, the Slayer, Angel of Death, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm just in this Humvee, and we're just like, you know how he screams at the beat, because we're playing it around this campfire, and he's like, yeah, and it just makes you just pumped up. It makes you feel like, man, we gotta go, like. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. So when I listen to this song that I made, I'm like, man, it makes me feel like, hell yeah, we gotta go. This is America, you know what I mean? Like, USA, like, I was like, man. And so I got the words done. I have the melody. I have the whole thing. So now I just have to record the vocals. So at some point in this next week, I'm going to record the vocals. So by next Tuesday's show, I'll bring that demo onto the show so that way we can all listen to it together. It'll be really cool because it's very thrashy and there's no way my band will ever do it. So therefore, it'll be another one. So I'll release Inside as a music video on my Epic D Guy channel, and then I'll release United We Stand as a video on my Epic D Guy channel because I just can't. I can't sit. What am I going to sit on these? Never put them out there? Somebody got to experience them with me. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously I got my dad, I got Jason, I got Cheyenne, but, you know, it'd be cool. Like, that's the whole thing, is to network, to like grow. Like, if you three like it, well, then if 3 like it, couldn't 6 like it? Couldn't 12 like it? Couldn't 24? You know what I mean? It's like there's 8 billion people in the world. If 0.0001% of people are into the same thing as that, do you know how many tens or hundreds of thousands of people that is out of 8 billion? It's a lot of people. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to do for everybody. I'm going to release like songs that I feel like they just don't fit with Epic D, or I don't know. I still got to get them out. So there's a few of those coming down the pipe. We'll show them off next week. It'll be pretty cool. So then I wanted to end Insano on a high note because I saw this thing and I said, oh, this is pretty cool. So this is something everybody can implement here. But it's this 1-minute daily exercise that can accelerate your success, according to this psychology PhD professor, right? And I don't even need to read the whole thing. It's very simple. What they said is, because a lot of times when you think back in your life, especially if you're just even thinking short term, not even thinking last year or last month or whatever, it feels like you never accomplish anything, right? It feels like you never, it's like, what good is going on? And so this guy said, to really improve in your own self-esteem and your self-psychological force, what you should do is every day write 1 sentence about something that you did in the previous 24 hours that you've improved in. So whether it be a mindset thing, a routine, a skill, or even accomplishment. What is one, not a crazy paragraph, not a whole thing, one sentence, something you did yesterday that was either in your mindset, like maybe you learned something, right? And you're like, hey, going forward, I got to look out for this, right? Well, learning that thing, that's a good thing, right? If you actually got a skill, like, you picked up the guitar for the first time or whatever, or you decided to cook eggs for the first time, whatever, right? That's a good thing. Or even just an accomplishment. Like I posted a video today. That's an accomplishment. There's something you do every day. You cannot tell me in a whole 24-hour span you didn't do something positive in your life. Something. You know what I mean? Even if it's like the accomplishment is, I went out for a walk. Do you know how many people don't go out for a walk? Yes, that's an accomplishment. Do you know how many people don't cook dinner? So if you cook dinner, yeah, that's an accomplishment. It could be anything, but writing those down, right? Because then you get to look back in a month, in 6 months, or in a year, and you go, damn, because you know how many days there are in a year? 365, right? So you look back in a month and you have 30 positive things. You go, oh, heck yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, I did do that. Oh, that's fantastic. And it just creates this positivity mindset that's like a snowball where you almost want to accomplish more. You want to upskill more. You want to learn more things. You want to get better mindset because you're like, man, it's like you can't. And my dad said, we can't stop. It's like you can't stop. It's like once you start improving, you're like, I can't stop. This is fantastic. Cheyenne said, it'd be like I didn't break down today. Yes. I'm telling you, I started 2024 off, and I told myself in 2024, I'm not going to cry for as long as I can. Because in 2023, it was like most people, it's like you write how many days you didn't do something or whatever. It's like, I can't tell you how many days I didn't cry in 2024 because it was a small number because it was like, or 2023. Because it was like that year just sucked for me. It was so bad. It like started off on such a bad foot. And then it was like I was tripping throughout the whole year. And I think that was part of it. It was like because of how it started off, then I got into a mindset and then a rut and then this happened and that happened. And it's like, damn, sucks. So it was like every day was a trigger to just like, even if it was, I'm not saying full-blown meltdowns every day like, oh, my life sucks. It was just like, damn, at some point your eyes water. Because you're like, bro, this is too much. Even if it was the simplest thing, but that's what true clinical depression is. It's like, it's not just like, oh, my life kind of sucks. Sometimes your life just kind of sucks. It's more like any little thing. Imagine having a glass full of water and then you pour in water, but the glass is full already. That's depression. It's like no matter what it is, it could just be a drop. That drop is already more than the cup can handle. That is depression. I don't know how else to put it, but it's like one little bad thing, one little person, is rude to you at a grocery store and you're just like, fuck, bro, I never get nothing. Like nobody ever treats me right. Whatever it is, it's like everything is an overwhelming overpour. So then in 2024, I said, I'm not going to cry once. So yeah, every day I was like, made it another day. Yes, that'd be an accomplishment. Absolutely. It wasn't until my hamsters died that I said, oh no, I can't. I for them, for their sake, I was like, I don't want to be like, oh, I didn't cry because I had a goal about not crying. I was sad as hell about my hamsters dying. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to just let it go. And then I honestly, it was something I needed to do. But then after that, it was like, there was this girl I was talking to at the time, and she was completely unsympathetic to that. And I was like, oh, well, then she got to go too. And it like really empowered me to like, all right, come on, guys, let's go here. Let's go. Like, that's what it has to be. So, yes, all these things are accomplishments. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I ran a 5K today. Well, I mean, yeah, damn, that's an accomplishment. But most of us out here are just trying to make do. Most of us out here are just trying to get by. So, like, even if you just said, I made it through yesterday, bro, I'd write that down. Because I'm telling you, I've been there where you're not sure if you're gonna make it through that day. You're not sure if there is tomorrow. So then when you make it to tomorrow, it's like, made it. What did I do yesterday? Made it through. Fantastic. Good for you. Keep on going. So that's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to start trying to do that myself. They recommend having an Excel, because, it'd be easier if you had an Excel sheet. So every morning you just wrote in your Excel sheet, but like not everybody has access to a computer or Microsoft Excel. So maybe just get a notebook, dedicate a notebook to just write. It's like a journal, right? To just writing the good things that happen every day. Because there's 365 days and it's one sentence per day. So 365 sentences. If anything, it sounds like at the end of the year, it's almost like a self-book. It's like a self-book. And I can imagine just sitting back at the end of the year, just looking back and going, oh, let me look at these accomplishments. Oh, man, I remember when I, cooked meatballs for the first time. Like, that was crazy. That was a cool day. I remember teaching my kids how to make meatballs. Because, honestly, that did happen to me. My kids, one likes spaghetti, the other one doesn't. So I was like, what can I do to make you want to eat this meal? And he's like, I was like, what happens if we made meatballs? And he's like, that sounds cool. I was like, I've never made them. Why don't you look up a recipe? So I made my son look up a recipe. He found one he thought he liked. It looked good. We learned how to make meatballs together. We made meatballs. He loved them. I was like, man, that was such a cool day. I would have wrote that down. Learned how to make meatballs with my sons. Boom. So do that, people. We need to start thinking more positive because, yeah, this world sucks, bro. This world sucks, and most of our lives aren't that great, okay? Unless we're Jeffrey Bezos. But even Jeffrey Bezos got through a divorce. Like, even him, he's like, damn, he's the second richest person in the world, and even him is just like having marital issues and stuff. Whatever, bro. Nobody has a perfect life, but if you only focus on the negatives, you'll find that your life does suck way worse than it does. So start focusing on the positive. One sentence every day. That's all we're asking. So think about that and come back to that. I did give you guys homework from the last show, not the one that I had my band over because that was a giant shit show. But I said, remember, take 5 minutes of your day and do nothing. Did anybody do that? Did anybody just sit down in a comfortable position in a chair, or even lay down? You could lay down. I didn't say lay down, but you could have laid down. The problem is when most people do this and they lay down, they fall asleep. It doesn't count if you're sleeping. You have to be awake. You have to be conscious. But just experience nothing. I kind of want to make a short on that. I had this idea the other day. It's like, imagine you're scrolling on YouTube or TikTok, right? And I'm just like, wait, experience nothing. And then I just make it a black screen with like a timer that goes 5. But there's no sound effects. It's just a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then my image comes back and I go, all right, that's it. Goodbye. And it's literally just a 5-minute blank of your day, because then you'll realize, like, damn, that 5 minutes felt like an hour. Or that 5 seconds. I couldn't do a 5-minute video, but that 5 seconds, they'll be like, whoa. I think that'd be a cool little short. I think the YouTube algorithm would hate it, because as soon as people got like 5, 4, they'd be like, skip. This guy's not going, oh, man, look at the flashing lights. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Skip. That's the unfortunate side effects of everyone's small-minded attention spans these days, but that is my piece of positivity advice for this week. Last week, and if you hadn't spent I'm just telling you, 5 minutes, set a timer, turn off the lights, no audio, no white noise, nothing, do nothing for 5 minutes and reset yourself. It's incredible. People call it meditation. I'm not saying you have to do all sorts of crazy stuff, but that is technically meditation. For 5 minutes, do absolutely nothing, and you will feel like, wow, I feel a little bit refreshed, because you'll realize how chaotic your entire life is. There's always something going on. You got the radio on, you got the lights on, you got a TV on, you got something's playing in the background, or whatever it is. There's always something going on, and you barely ever have time to do literally nothing. All right. Now, let's move on to the look inside, because I got this article that I saw that I was like, ooh, this one's pretty good, and I'd like to bring it up. So let's go to a look. Let's take a look inside. Do you hear that chorus? I mean, come on, man. That thing slaps ass. Inside of me. Damn. Next week, for anybody that's watching this and they literally have no idea what I'm talking about, I will play that song next week. We can all experience it together. Fantastic. To me, it's like what I was going for, regardless of, obviously you guys have your own opinions, what that sounds like. Because I never heard Ghost. I think my dad's mentioned it, and I've heard something of it, but I don't know too much about Ghost or whatever. But I've seen the imagery of it. I'm like, okay, I kind of get what he's going for. What I was going for was like Metallica meets something just like a death metal-y sort of thing. I can't even name a specific band because I don't listen to a lot of death metal, but it's like that really grittiness of the verses, the really darkness of like some deep metal, but then there's these thrashy elements, especially when it gets to the solo. That's like pure Metallica for me, bro. I'm like, did Kirk and James write it? I don't know, but to me it sounds like, damn, that sounds like something Metallica would have wrote. So there's that. All right, so I saw this article, and I see a lot of these articles because it's like I like them. So they're like, hey, this guy looks at a lot of our articles, so we should send him more of these things. And I thought this was a fantastic one to bring up on the show. All of these would have been great with Jason, but he's at Walmart, and I wasn't going to not do a show. So now instead I'm doing it by myself. So this one is, if someone displays these 7 behaviors, they're exhausting to be around. So I want you to think, is there someone in your life that displays their behavior? Maybe you're like, man, this person's exhausting to be around, but you can't explain it. And you don't know why, but it's like every time you're hanging around this person, you're like, oh man, this is a drain. Well, this psychological expert is showing us what people display that really makes them a drain to you mentally. And so the first one is constant negativity. Constant negativity. We all have our bad days, right? Sure. But there's a difference between dealing with a difficult time and being perpetually negative. People who are always complaining or looking on the dark side can be exhausting to be around. It's like they're a dark cloud casting a shadow over everything and everyone. More than that, their negative energy can be contagious. As Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're constantly surrounded by naysayers, it's only a matter of time before their pessimism starts to rub off on you. I said, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like when I'm around these like really negative people, it's like you can feel a tug because it's like you want to say something positive or you do say something positive, and there's just some way that it always gets spun negatively in that thing. So you're like, oh, okay, I can see that's a negative sponge there. A victim mentality. Do you have someone in your life, no matter what happens, they're never to blame? You know it is. Their boss is unfair, their friends are disloyal, their partner doesn't appreciate them, the universe itself seems to have a personal vendetta against them. When they mess up, it's because of someone else. When something doesn't go right, it's never their fault. Sound familiar? I said, oh man, there is somebody that's like that. I really do know somebody. I said, oh, but I got to hear more. There's no way. I mean, there's 7 things in here. There's 7 things. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Hit me with number 3. Self-centeredness. Let's be honest. We're all the main characters in our own novels. And that's true. We literally exist to ourselves, so we are the main characters to ourselves. At the end of the day, you're lying in bed by yourself, and that's who you are experiencing your own life. It's natural to see life through the lens of our own experiences. But, and it's a big but, some people take this main character energy to a whole new level. These are the folks who dominate every conversation, make everything about them, and rarely, if ever, ask how you're doing. What's going on with your life? What are some things that you are doing in the moment? So that way they can put the focus on you. When you share something personal, they manage to twist it back to their own life. Got a new job? They'll find a way to one-up you with a story about their career. Feeling down? Somehow their hardships are always worse. Sound familiar? I said, oh man, it does sound kind of familiar. There's somebody I was thinking about here. Constant criticism. Ever been around someone who has the knack for pointing out their faults or criticizing your actions? It can be a real downer, can't it? People who are persistently critical can wear you down and deplete your energy. They make you feel like you're always on the defensive, constantly needing to justify your actions or decisions. This relentless criticism can stir feelings of insecurity and self-doubt, leaving you in a personal state of perpetual discomfort. It's important to recognize this behavior for what it is, an energy-draining trait that could sap your positivity and peace of mind. And then number 5, a lack of reciprocation. Relationships are a two-way street, whether it's between friends, family, or significant others. It's always about give and take. But what happens if you're the one always giving and they're the ones always taking? It feels as though your efforts, your care, your time, your energy are exploited with no consideration for your needs. You pour out your love and support only to receive indifference or neglect in return. The lack of reciprocation can leave you feeling used and worn out. It's important to understand that healthy relationships involve mutual respect and care. It's not selfish to expect some degree of reciprocity from the people you invest your time and your energy in. So do you have those people where it's like you keep pouring out for them? You keep going out of your way to do something for them, but it feels like they never reciprocate that for you? That's definitely draining. Making everything a competition. Healthy competition does motivate us to do better, but when someone turns every interaction into a contest, it becomes exhausting. Individuals who always need to be the best, the most successful, the most recognized, often make those around them feel inferior or inadequate. It's as if your worth is constantly being measured against theirs. This relentless competitiveness can drain your energy and take the joy out of your shared experiences. Recognizing this behavior can help you understand why interactions with such individuals leave you feeling worn out. So it's like everything you do with this person or for this person, it's a competition. It's like they're always trying to one up. You just want to be able to do something without it actually having to be this contest between. It's like a tug of war on what's better or who's doing worse. And then finally, a lack of empathy here. You know that hollow feeling you get when you share something meaningful and the other person doesn't seem to care? It's like dealing with somebody who lacks empathy. They can't or they won't see something from anyone else's perspective. Empathy is the foundation of meaningful relationships. Without it, there's no room for connections, vulnerability, or trust. And when somebody consistently fails to meet with you and compassion and chips away at your emotional energy, it leaves you feeling drained and disheartened. At the end of the day, relationships with people who lack empathy are rarely fulfilling. If someone isn't capable of meeting you halfway emotionally, it's worth asking yourself how much of your time and your energy are you willing to keep giving. So, final thoughts, and then we'll discuss this in a second. Recognizing these energy-draining behaviors is the first step towards protecting your own mental and emotional well-being. While it's important to show compassion, it's just as important to set boundaries and prioritize yourself. After all, your time and energy are limited. Spend them wisely on the people who uplift and support you. Sometimes the best way to recharge is to step away, and you deserve that. I know there's tons of people out here that the relationships are draining, right? You and your spouse or your significant other or whatever, it's literally draining. It's like those things that they're saying. It's like either it's always a contest of somebody who's putting in, well, I already did these 5 things for you this week, and you're not doing this. Like, but I already did 6 things. Like, why are we competing on who's doing more things? Like, I'm consistently always doing things for you, or I'm going out of my way to do this, but you never reciprocate that. I dropped my whatever it was, my event, my this, my that. I dropped that for you, and then the opportunity comes for you to do the same for me, and it doesn't happen. And all these little things, they just add up. It's just this giant pull away from it. Now, I don't have a significant other, sadly, but there is someone in my life that I was like, bro, when I read that article, I was like, oh, it's like them verbatim. I'll just say it here because he's not watching. But Garrett is absolutely like this verbatim, like every single step. I was just telling Mario about this. I was like, Garrett is the most negative person I've ever met in my life. And I think we need to have like a negativity intervention with him. I think we need to be like, hey, man, things aren't always that crap. Like with Garrett, everything sucks. Everything's lame. Everything's trash or garbage or just all these things where I'm like, it's draining. It's literally draining. And I'm like, I usually have to like go out of my way. I got to tiptoe around it because it's like if I'm going to do something or whatever, it's like I know going into it, Garrett's going to take things a certain way. Or like, and this is the crazy thing. I'm in a band with him, right? And so like when I make these demos and stuff like that, I usually don't show the guys for a good chunk of time because I'm not ready emotionally to have them shit on it if they don't like it. And Garrett shits on everything he ever hears, ever. So it's like draining. You know what I mean? Imagine you do all this work to do this cool thing and you just want to show, hey, this is a thing, and then go, oh, that's shit. Or whatever. It's like, oh, man, I don't like that. Oh, that sounds like this or whatever. And it's like, Or you get to an event and, the standard kit that's up there, we're using the house kit. Oh, but the house kit has this or that. And it's like negative, right? It's like everything always is negative. And it's draining. It's honestly draining. I think the next time he has this like really negative tirade, I'm waiting to drop this on him because I think it'll really hurt his feelings. And I don't want to hurt his feelings, okay? We're friends. But at the same time, it's like there is reality. And so like the next time he's just like in this negative, I'm going to say, Garrett, I think we should change your name. I think you should be Mr. Negativity. What do you think? It's either Mr. Negativity or Mr. Krabs. I thought that'd be funny because it's funny. Or Mr. Krabs. Hey, it's Mr. Krabs on the drums. But it is true. And maybe if I say that, he'll be like, what do you mean? I'm not negative. And we could just list it. It's just like, bro, every single thing is just like a drain. Or it's like in this article where it's like, it's like, I'm not feeling good. Well, I haven't felt good all week. It's not a competition. I'm not feeling good. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever it is, it's just like negative. So I'm waiting to drop that on him because I know it's going to really hurt his feelings, but he has to hear it. But it has to come from me. It can't come from another source because I think I'm the only one in his friend group that he'll listen to, sort of. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I'm the closest thing to him. Even though him and Mario are better friends than me and him, but I would say him and Mario are closer. But I don't know. I just think because I'm the same age or a little bit older than him, or whatever, so there's more of that close dynamic versus Mario's like, I don't know if people know this, but Mario's like 10 years younger than us. Mario's like way younger than us, but he gets the big beard. He's a scruffle, big old dude. So it's like he kind of just fits in. But no, Mario's like 25 or something, like 24 or 25. So I think there's some of that. And so when I saw this article, I said, man, I kind of want to, I don't want to send it to him because it's like not one of those things where you just say, hey, read it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't know. But I think if it was brought up in a friendly, loving way, like, Garrett, I don't know if you know this, but you're always so freaking negative. Everything sucks. Everything's lame. Everything's gay. Everything's this. I don't know if you know that. And then he's going to be like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And I'm hoping what happens after that is like a self-reflection where he goes, damn, all right, let me try to be more positive. And then he starts trying to be more positive. And then because he's trying to be more positive, he looks on the bright side. Oh, man, I was going to say that sucked, but like, what's good about this? Well, at least blank. Because that's, when we talk about positive mindsets, people, they say glass half empty, half full, optimistic, pessimistic. And if you're not sure which one you are, wait until something bad happens to you in any capacity, from the smallest thing, usually the smallest things. Wait until something happens to you, and then what is your first reaction? That'll tell you if you're pessimistic or you're optimistic. I'll give you a very small example. There'd be like something, I'd be like, getting together my materials to cook dinner, right? Maybe I'm getting out some stuff out of the fridge, and I'm getting out I'm trying to think of something that I wouldn't want to eat off the floor, because if it drops quick enough, I'm grabbing it. But it's like, let's say I'm getting celery out, and I break off 4 sticks, and then as I'm going from the fridge over to the table, I drop a stick, right? Your initial reaction tells you if you're optimistic or pessimistic. For me, my initial reaction goes, "Whew, at least I only dropped one." I was like, whoo, like I'll save 3, and then I'm like, okay, only 1 got away. That's optimistic. You realize the positive in that situation. It was a bad situation, but you realize, wow, at least I only dropped 1. The pessimistic is, damn it, I dropped 1. Oh, great, now I got to get another one. Pessimistic. You only saw the negative in that situation. Now, that's a small example. You can extrapolate that for any situation when you get into. And it's going to be hard to like self-reflect right in the moment. You'll have to reflect afterwards. But think about that the next time something happens to you. For example, remember the story I told in episode 10 about how my tire went flat on the way home from Cedar Point? If I was pessimistic, I would have been like, damn, my tire went flat, bro. This sucks. I got to get a new tire. That's going to cost like $50. Like, blah, 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 blah. Damn. I instead was like, as the tires literally, it's expunging so much air that I can hear it audibly inside the car with the windows up. That's how the air was going. I was like, oh, thank God that I made it home. I can't believe I made it home. I can't believe I just made it home on that flat tire. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's what I was thinking. Like, truly to my car, I was like, oh man, that's great. That's great. I was thinking, I'm so glad my tire only got flat from the last 3 miles of the drive. That's what I was thinking, because I was like, I was so grateful. Like, I could have got a flat in Ohio. What would I have done with the flat in Ohio? At midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. There ain't no tire shops open at 1 o'clock in the morning in Ohio. So I'm so grateful that my tire only got flat 3 miles from my house. Optimistic. See? Now, that's just me naturally, because that was how my soul was made. That's nothing I have a hand in. It's just how I was built. But if you find yourself being more pessimistic, then it's going to take more work. You're going to have to physically put the mentality together to do that. And it's not going to be overnight, and it's going to take a long time. But that's something where you just need to, you'll have your initial reaction. You'll go, oh, this sucks. I can't believe this. But then after you take a deep breath, and after you go, all right, well, at least blank. That's what I want you to focus on. At least blank. Because there has to be some sliver of positivity in no matter what the negative situation is. Think about your spouse breaking up with you, because I remember when mine broke up with me. Well, not spouse as in marriage, but just girlfriend, right? And the one sliver I thought was, at least I get to have pizza night. Because she never wanted to have pizza. That was like one sliver. I made this song. There's a demo. It's called I'm Doing Fine. That is an epic disappointment song. We will release that at some point this year. But that was the one lyric that I thought was really funny. It's like, you know what? It's like, you know what I'm thinking? Pizza night. Because it was like, I'm single. I can do whatever I want. And that was the one positive. It was like, well, I get to cook whatever I want for dinner then. That's kind of cool. Obviously, it sucks not having a girlfriend. Yeah, it totally sucks, bro. I totally get that. It's so nice to do girlfriend stuff, you know? But on the positive side, cook whatever you want. Go to bed whenever you want. You don't got to text anybody, letting them know where you're going at one time. You know, there are positive aspects. So, and in that terrible negative situation that I'm telling you I know is absolutely devastating, there is still positivity in there that can come out of that. So I want you to start thinking, if you are pessimistic, at least blank. At least blank. Going forward. So that way you can have some positivity. That's also going to add into the one sentence that you do every day. I'm going to make you guys so freaking positive at the end of this, whatever it is, years long extravaganza of this show. You're going to be like, wow, I remember when I started watching this show and I was just the most Mr. Krabs person like Garrett over here. But now, man, I see the bright side on things, and I'm just like, I have all this self-worth and confidence now. It's just fantastic. Thanks, Al. Thanks for doing that. I go, you're welcome. It's for you. It's not for me. What do I get out of it if you improve your life? I don't get nothing. I'm doing that for you. I'm giving you that for you so you can feel good about yourself. I get nothing out of this. I'm only here just because I like doing this. That's what I get out of it. I just enjoy being here. I wake up every day and I thank God for another day on this earth. I go, made it through. You know, some people die in their sleep, bro. I don't know what it is, thousands or millions of people every day. They don't even wake up. I wake up and I go, got another one. Thank you. Hopefully today I can accomplish these things. And then I thank him at the end of the night for all the, and I look back and I go, thank you for this, this, this. And I think that is a good start. And I know a lot of people out there are like, I'm not religious. I don't even believe in God. Whatever it is, bro. Whatever you're thanking or thankful for or towards, whatever it is, start your day thinking about the fact that you get a day. End your day thinking about the good things that happened in that day. Because I guarantee it wasn't a giant shit show. There were probably bad things. But the whole day you were up 16, 18 hours, there wasn't nothing good that you're happy for? Did you get to, I don't know, cut the grass? That's awesome. Some people can't cut their grass. Did you get to go outside, get some fresh air on a walk? I'm telling you, it is not hard to think positive. You just have to actually start thinking. So that's everyone's homework. One sentence every day. At least, when the next bad thing, at least blank. That's something you're going to have to come up with on your own. And start thinking about the things you're grateful for. Most people, they wait until Thanksgiving. They get Thanksgiving dinner. They're like, all right, what are we thankful for this year, guys? I'm thinking, I remember I released that video on Thanksgiving. I'm like, you know, you guys should be like thankful for things every day. You don't need to wait until Thanksgiving. You're like, oh, all right, I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. Yeah, let's see, what were you thankful? Every day you should be doing this. I thank God, but you should just be thankful in general. Even if you don't believe in God, you just be like, you know what? It was pretty cool that I got to do this today. It was pretty cool that I got to talk to this person. It was pretty cool that I got to play this video game today. It was pretty cool that I won first place in the Battle Royale, Fortnite Battle Royale. That was pretty cool. Bro, those are all accomplishments. It's all positivity. This world is such a negative, crappy place to be in. If you are a part of that, it will drain you. Like this article. All these humans, they're out there they're trying to drain you. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. They're like, ooh, we call them haters. And if you watch one of my other videos, haters gonna hate because haters gotta hate. They have to hate. They have to make sure they're miserable. So they got to make sure you're miserable too. That's a large portion of this world. I don't know what the percentage of the 8 billion people it is, but I'm telling you, more people want they want to be, oh man, why is that person succeeding? Why does that person get that? Why did that person get to do that? Why is, boom, negative, negative, negative versus positive. It's a very small minority. So if you're waiting for other people to pour positivity into you, I'd say stop waiting. It's not going to happen. You got to do it yourself, for yourself. For yourself. At the end of the day, you got you. At the end of the day, we all only have ourselves laying in bed thinking about what's going on in your life. It's only you at the end of the day. You know, my dad has a saying. He says, trust no one. Fuck everyone. Because at the end of the day, everyone's not you. And you can only, I'd like to say you can only trust yourself, but even that might be an iffy rule, right? It's like, well, you can't even trust yourself sometimes. But that's because they're not you. You can't really trust anybody because everyone has their own self-interest at heart. So you have to look out for yourself. And if you're going to be the negative person, that means you're not even looking after yourself. Because if you're not positive to yourself, who is gonna be? Hopefully you do have some positive people in your life, but for the most part, if you're not doing it for you, then who? That was a saying we used to have at Little Caesars was, if not you, then who? But it applied to anything. Like if you weren't going to pick up the trash coming inside the restaurant, well then who? You're waiting for somebody else to do it? Why not you? If not you, then who? If you're not going to say that thing, why doesn't that kid have his belt on? If you as the manager, if not you, then who? Who's going to say something? You're going to wait for your boss to do it? In this positive light, if you're not going to start saying positive things about yourself, then who the hell is? You got to start with yourself. Isn't my dad? Not even yourself. Exactly. Trust nobody, not even yourself. But at least at least you can count on yourself to say things for yourself. And you're the one that dictates the things that you're saying. Unless you're literally like possessed and you're like, I can't control my mouth and the things that are coming out of it. But we all know everybody can. So that's not something I want to hear. You can control what you say. It is harder to control what you think. But you can control eventually how you react. Not how you initially react, but how you react to your reaction. And that should tell you a lot about yourself. So that's this week's look inside. Now, I did want to do this thing with Jason, and I won't do it by myself, even though it's really cool. It's like super, super, super cool, but I'm going to wait for Jason because I found this game, and it's called Let's Get Deep. I went to Five Below, and I was honestly getting more shirts because my shirts, I'm swimming in everything. All my pants are just, I look like I don't know if anybody remembers Jared before he went to prison, but for all the Subway commercials where he's like, look at all this weight I lost and none of my clothes fit me and I look like a donkey and an elephant and a whatever. I don't know. He looks stupid because all his clothes were. Now, I didn't lose that much weight, but I did lose enough where all my clothes, it just looks stupid. That's why I wear like jackets or hoodies all the time because like my clothes are just absurdly big because everything I have is either extra large or large. All my pants are like 38s or 36s. And now I realistically wear a 32, but I like the way that the 34s feel because they're a little more comfortable. So I went to Five Below to get some more shirts. So that way I can get some comfy shirts that are a little slimming. And they're only $5. What a great deal. And then I saw this game and I said, oh, what's this game about? And it's called Let's Get Deep BFF Edition. You think you know everything about the people you grew up with? Time to find out. Expand your knowledge of your friends by asking and answering cool and exciting questions from 3 increasing levels. Level 1, light questions. Level 2, big questions. And level 3, bigger questions. And so I said, oh, that would be perfect for this segment, a look inside. Well, it's a look inside us. And so I got these cards, and I was like, oh, I want to see what they're like. And, so I'll just pick a random one. So, like, light questions would be something like this. What's your favorite smell? What's your favorite smell? So, I'm thinking I'd pull one card for Jason, then one card for me, and then whatever. Or we could discuss it, whatever. And so I won't even say what my favorite smell is because I'll wait for Jason. But then a big question could be, if you could travel back in time, when and where would you go? That's a bigger question. That's pretty good. I like that. And so that's a big question. And then level 3, the bigger questions would be like, let's see here. Oh, some of these are low. Which emotion do you experience the most during your day? Or the family put you in charge of burying a time capsule. What are you going to put in that time capsule? Or this one, I like this one. You have to delete every single photo you've ever taken except for one. What's the one photo you keep? Ooh, so these are some good-ass questions. I said, oh, this is going to be a good game. And there's like 140 cards. So I said, oh, man, if we pull, three each, so like 6 cards every week, it'll take us like a year to get through these things. I was like, well, fantastic. Now, obviously, we could just do a 1-hour segment and be done with them, but what's the fun of that? Let me stretch out this $5 to make a whole year's worth of content. So we're going to add that into the look inside, and we'll be able to get a look inside our minds too, which is really fantastic. So we're not going to do the Am I the Asshole because it doesn't make sense without Jason here because he's Dr. J. I just love the thing I made for him. I'll just put it up there. Am I the Asshole? With Dr. J, PhD in Assholeology. Dr. J, the PhD. But what's so funny is I had my dad on a couple weeks ago, and, we did the Am I the Asshole? If Jason has a doctoral degree in assholedom, my dad probably has like a quadruple double doctorate. I don't know what the highest level you could possibly have. But if Jason has a doctoral degree in assholedom, my dad, he's like 10 times the exceeding amount of that. I don't know what the highest certificate level you could possibly get, because I thought it was a doctoral degree. That's why I gave it to Jason, because Jason's like the supreme asshole. But no, then after my dad came on and we were doing that segment with him and my dad was just ripping apart those things, I was like, oh no, my dad's at a level. It makes Jason seem like it's Mother Teresa or something. Jason's like a nice guy, you know? Hilarious. So I don't know. The next time we guest on and have that, I got to do like an even further degree than doctoral. That'd be hilarious. The Pope. The Pope of assholedom? Maybe that's what it is. I did have some. I guess I'll load one up simply because I did the promo, but I'll save the rest for Jason here. Let's see. Why don't we do... Let's do... Oh, this one's funny, so I'll just do this one. Now, I don't have a doctoral degree in assholedom, but I do know what an asshole is. You know, because I do this show with Jason, and I've been with Jason for... we've been hanging out since 2002, so 23 years at this point. And so I know an asshole when I see one. And my dad will say, well, and then you knew me before that, but I was trying to be nice. was trying to be nice. Yes, and I knew my father even before that. So I've been around assholes my whole life. So if anybody knows an asshole, it's me. But anyway, so this one, let's bring this up here. All right. So this is an Am I the Asshole from Reddit. Dad here, old fart, loves his daughter to pieces, but I'm struggling to see eye to eye with my teenager and my wife on this one. We've always been a meat-eating family. We live in the rural Midwest, and bacon for breakfast is pretty much a given. This year, my 14-year-old daughter decided to go vegan, and I jumped onto her support team with enthusiasm. We learned how to substitute ingredients, cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her, etc. None of this has been a problem for us until recently. She saw me cooking bacon in a pan, and then I rinsed it out to load into the dishwasher, but then she exploded in anger. Now, teen years, I'm not too fussed about the anger explosion. I know she doesn't mean it, but teenage angst, as all those pre-teen... You remember being a teenager, having all that angst? I guess I can do this full screen. You remember having all that angst? I do. My dad was like, I remember you having that, asshole. Yes. Anyway, so... I know she didn't mean it. And so she said that was her pan for vegan food. I was completely floored and said, kiddo, this is a family pan that's literally older than you. It's not your pan. It's the family pan. She asked me to purchase her a pan that she can use solely for vegan food. I didn't want her to feel weird about food, so I said sure, and I ordered a few colored ones that are only for her. The reason why they're colored is so it helps me remember not to touch them unless I'm cooking vegan meals. That wasn't good enough, because now apparently the dishwasher is contaminated with animal product, and the fridge has bacon grease fingers on it because I eat bacon and then I touch the fridge. And she's asked me and her mom to completely stop eating meat at home. I don't mean I literally touch the fridge with greasy bacon hands because I wash my hands, but it's clearly enough that it upsets my daughter. Frankly, I'm on team hell no. Her mom is much more amendable and strongly wants me to consider taking our daughter up on the request. My wife's reasoning is that both of our parents live close, so we can eat meat products there, and that she doesn't want our daughter to feel uncomfortable in the kitchen. My daughter says she is fine with cheese and butter in the fridge, but it's specifically meat products that make her feel sick. Now, I'm sorry for her, but I feel like she just needs to adapt and live side by side, because I'm not going to stop eating bacon in my own house. Oh, am I the asshole and that's what the title was. If I refuse my daughter's proposition to stop eating meat. So let's talk about that for a second, because this could go a few ways. Now, my initial reaction is, and I'd like you guys to put that in the chat, like, is that an asshole move if he doesn't stop eating meat? Or if he does, like, you know, My initial reaction is, of course, I don't think it's right for his daughter to ask the whole family to stop eating meat just because she does. That's unreasonable. Because, let's say she goes to college, lives in a dorm, she's living with 4 other people. She's going to get 3 other random strangers to be vegans because she can't handle when bacon's in the fridge, or because the fact that the dishwasher gets used and there's bacon grease in there. That doesn't make sense. And so, I can totally see where he's coming from with that. And then I can see the other side of it going well, is it something where I'm completely against stopping that? Do I really care that much, or could I stop eating bacon or whatever? Now, this is a big stretch because it's vegan, okay? This isn't going from I can eat all meat except for bacon. It's no, going no meat. And I feel like that's a pretty big ask on his daughter's behalf. Because with me, I just can't eat pork. I can't eat pork. And I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever told this story on the show, at least. Because I've told it many times in real life. Because they always ask me, why don't you eat pork? It's not a religious thing. I can't eat pork because my body cannot process it. This happened on an Easter, and we go back over 15 years ago at this point. One day I was eating a wide variety of Easter meals that most people would enjoy. You get scalloped potatoes and ham by itself, ham sandwiches, ham this, ham that. And I remember because the store manager I was working with at the time, he had his wife bring in all this ham stuff because it was Easter, and 99% of people don't want to work on Easter, but I really didn't care because I was just living by myself or with Jason at the time. So I was like, I don't care. Send me to work. So I worked. He brought me all this stuff. We're eating it. Oh, it's so good. You fast forward within a couple hours of that, and for some reason it felt like my insides were being clawed out. And I've never experienced this feeling before, but I knew it wasn't good. So I went to the bathroom and proceeded to, I don't know what the right word is, because honestly, defecation sounds terrible. It sounds worse than poop. It sounds like you should just say poop. I defecated. Man, that sounds really bad. But anyway, I went to go poop, and that pooping experience was one of the most difficult things I experienced up into that point. And the only way I can explain it in a graphical sense was it felt like I was shitting glass. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced shitting glass, but imagine the intense pain of shitting glass. Can you fathom it? You know what I mean? Could you literally fathom shitting glass shards? That's what it felt like for me. Immense blood was pouring out of my nether region there. And I said, oh man, this isn't good. And then for the next hour, I was just trying to deal with it, but it just felt like my insides were like there was just glass shards going all throughout my body as this ham was processing. So I ended up calling my parents-in-law. They came and picked me up, took me to the hospital. They did some tests, and they said, you're having an allergic reaction. What were you eating? I said, oh, no, well, potatoes and ham. And they're like, yeah, that's probably it. Let's do some more tests, blah, blah, you come back, whatever. And so in between that time, I started experimenting, and I said, okay, well, what about, because I used to love salads, and I'd take bacon, and because I worked at a pizza restaurant, I'd take the raw bacon, and I'd put it through the oven, and come out all crispy and awesome, and then I'd put it in my salad, I'm like, no, 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 boom, shit in glass. I said, no way. I said, oh, that can't be it. One day I have a pizza. I used to like pepperoni and Italian sausage. That was pretty cool. Put some green pepper on there. Oh, pepperoni, sausage, shit glass. I said, no way. One day I had a hot dog. This is all within 2 weeks because I'm experimenting. And the hot dog was a little, because mostly hot dogs are just this mishmash of everything. And I had a little reaction to it. It was mild. And I said, oh no, this is truly a pork. They're right. I'm allergic to pork. And since then, I can't eat pork. And every now and then I forget. It's not that I forget, but something I eat is they say it's not pork. It's not this is a beef hot dog. I realize it ain't later. Or something like that. If it's a minimal amount, it's a minimal a reaction. I used to eat like pepperoni pizzas, but take off the pepperoni, and people would be like, "Isn't the bacon grease gonna kill you?" Well, a little bacon grease ain't gonna kill me, but I'll feel a little bit later. But yeah, no, if I ate like a pork chop, oh, bro, it'd be GO. Write me off. Like, it's done. So I'm literally allergic to pork. But I never ask anybody, oh, don't eat pork around me. Oh, don't cook pork in the same pan as something we're to cook. Like, bro, it's not that serious. It's not that crazy. So, like, if me being physically allergic to it wouldn't ask somebody to stop doing that, like, if Jason came over here and he's like, oh, man, I just like cooking pork chops, and I'm going to make bacon for breakfast, and, I'm going to just be like making my own Italian sausage, and that's what I carve for lunch, I'd be like, oh, well, that's cool. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's no skin on my back. I'm just not going to eat it. And yes, I will make sure the dishes are clean, but like, it's not like, oh, man, I touched it. It touched the pan. It's not that intense. So I feel like it's too much of an ask to say, hey, I know you like eating meat. No meat. So I think the guy's not really an asshole. I think he's just kind of being reasonable. I think he's saying, like, look, I got you your own pan. I'll wash my hands before I open the fridge next time. But no, I'm not going to stop eating meat. That doesn't make any sense. Cheyenne said, I feel like she shouldn't ask them to completely stop eating meat in the house. But also maybe he could recommend getting her a mini fridge to put all of it. See, that's compromise. That's, the art of compromise has been lost, I feel like, throughout the years. I feel like a lot of times these days, everything's a my way or the highway, an all or nothing, a one side wins and another side loses. And I think we have lost the art of the compromise. I think that is a fantastic idea. That would be a suggestion for that father. Say, look, I understand you don't want the meat to be sitting in the same fridge. Let me get you your own fridge. You can put in your room. Shoot, I'd even get her own little burner. She already got her own pan. I'd get her own utensils, her own set of everything. I'm still eating hamburgers. Now, I haven't had a hamburger in a really long time at this point since the diet, but you know what I mean. I'm still eating this stuff, but I'll get you that stuff as a compromise. That'd be pretty good. My dad says, I'm allergic to fish and nuts, which probably explains why I'm so effing lonely. Fish and nuts. I mean, I don't think I'm allergic to fish. I only had fish one time. One time in particular. I think I had a little dabble of like some sushi stuff. I don't even count that. But there was one time in particular that I think it was Uncle Dan came over and was cooking some fish. And I took a bite. I was like, it's just the smell for me. It's like the smell. It gets me ready to not like the taste. And then I remember one time Grandpa, he had a shrimp platter. And he's like, you want some of that shrimp? And I was like, it looks good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Shrimp looks appealing. But I went to go eat it, and I was like, oh, the texture and the taste and the smell, like everything about it. I'm like, oh, this is nasty, bro. I don't like shrimp. So I just don't mess with seafood in general. Now, nuts, I got a bag of like walnuts, pecans, like I crush them up. I put them in my salad. I like to get this peanut bar that I put in my yogurt for lunch. I love all those nuts. So I'm glad that I'm not allergic to all those tree nuts and peanuts and stuff like that. You can have your fan club membership just for me now, but I'm working on it. Yes, the fan club, it's called. Oh, and what's funny is I always wanted that to be a song in my metal band. So maybe I'll just make that for my Epic D Guy one-offs where it's called I Shit Glass. I think that'd be pretty intense. I mean, that would be like the most metal. What song is more metal than that? Jimmy, I was at the Imagine. Yes, Jimmy, thank you. I know you came in a really awkward time where I was talking about pooping glass, but I appreciate that. That's so funny. As far as that video goes, give me a week. Give me a week. I'll have that Imagine Canton video out. It'll be fantastic. I got all sorts of shorts from it. Part of the OGs. That's what I told him. I was like, get on the board now. You're going to be an OG. So, Jimmy, you're an OG. Thank you. I appreciate you. You'll be on there. Jimmy, were you the one with the fit? Who had the fit that I said, you have the fit? I remember there was the three that had the exact same clothes on, and then there was the one boy with shoes and a hat. The fit champion of that time. Cheyenne, I need that song in my life. It sounds, but if I'm making that song, it's going to be heavy. It's going to be brutal. I mean, I want it to reflect the experience that I had. So you know it's going to be like, I'm going to need like bass drops, all sorts of stuff. That's why I like that Inside song. It's like it got the bass drops. It got the... I was wearing the shoes and the hat. Jimmy is the drip king. They said, who was the drip king? Mohammed's back. What's up, dude? Yes, Jimmy was the drip king. I wish I had, eventually when we have to cross 500 subscribers. So 1, I unlock memberships, but 2, I unlock super chats. And when I unlock memberships and super chats, then I can get like special emojis and like all sorts of cool things made. And then that'd be funny, Jimmy. We'll get you like a drip king emoji that only you can have. That'd be sick, wouldn't it? And like Cheyenne, I can get you like maybe there's only 101 or something like that where it's like OG super fan or something like that. Like that way everybody I could have as many as I really want to. That'd be funny. Muhammad Abdul, who's not me, Jimmy. Abdullah, not me, bro. I don't know who he's talking to. But anyway, yes, no, I appreciate you guys. I'll get you. And honestly, I have a new theme, a new video theme now that I made from just going to that random old people retirement movie where I'm going to go Al at the movies. You know, because honestly, I like going to the theaters. I do. I like seeing movies. But as most people know at this point, I don't have nobody to go see them with. And I'm not saying it's weird to do things alone, because honestly, I'm used to it at this point, especially when I traveled. My background is a lot of traveling. At Little Caesars, I was part of the national training team, so every other week, I was going all over the country. So I had to start eating at restaurants alone. I remember the first time I went to an Applebee's all by myself. And I said, I'm going to sit down, and this is going to be so awkward. Table for one, please. And they're like, oh, look at this lonely loser. Couldn't find somebody to bring to Applebee's. That's what I thought in my head, right? But then eventually it's like, nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares at all. And so, yeah, no, I'm used to going to restaurants alone. I mean, I went to the movies alone plenty of times at this point. So now that'll be a movie series where I'm going to try to go to the premieres of things. These kids, they went and saw Dog Man, and they said it was dog poop. But I want to go to other premieres, show up with my camera, interview people, watch the movie, give my explanation of how the movie went, give my rating, and it'll be Al at the movies. That'll be a cool little side gig. So I got Al on the street asking people stuff, Al at the movies, Al at this. It was dog poop. Yeah, so I'm going to be back out there. So that'll be pretty cool to get that going again as well. All right, so that's my Am I the A-hole section. Let's get into the after party and start closing.
It's the after party.
Whoa. Man, I love that song. I can't wait until enough people know that song so they know the woes. Because it's just awkward when it's just me and Dylan, me and Mario and Dylan, and we go, whoa. But imagine if 1,000 people were in the crowd and they're all going, whoa. Wouldn't that be sick? Wouldn't that be sick? Everybody like, whoa. That's what we imagine when people are doing it. So anyway, we're in the after party. This is where it's just a kind of random grab bag crap to kind of wrap up the end of the night here. And so I saw some of these videos and I said, oh, these would be funny to kind of bring up on here. So let's look at this first one. There's a photo I saw. Jason would have loved this, bro. I wish Jason was here. Jason, bro, you're missed. Have you guys ever seen this? This is the original prototype of the Xbox. I can't even zoom into it. Somebody says in the comments, looks like an adult film trophy. But the Xbox was originally going to be an Xbox, bro. Wouldn't that have been the sickest freaking gaming console you've ever seen in your life? A whole Xbox? Man, that would have been sick. It would have sold 1 billion of those. Now look at that thing. It looks like half the size of the table, which was a bit absurd. The original Xbox was already absurd for its size, and the controller was like this massive gargantuan thing. But if you've experienced Halo 1, and I know these kids, you weren't even born. Abdullah, Jimmy, none of you guys were born when Halo 1 came out, because I think that was 2002. There's no way. They said they were in, I think they said they were 14. What are you doing up so late? Don't you got school tomorrow? You better be going to bed. You were born in 2000? No, you weren't. You need to go to bed. You can stick around for a little bit longer until the show is over. Stay for the show. You can stick around until the end there. All right, so that's the Xbox. This is another photo I saw that I said, I didn't see what it was at first. Are you concerned about having ugly feet this summer? No worries. We got you covered. And I was like, it's just a sandal. No, it's not it's a sandal with like a foot. It's a foot sandal. So you put your foot in this foot sandal so nobody can see what your real feet are like. They said they're dropouts. Don't drop out of school, kids. You better stay in school. And don't do drugs either. No drugs for you guys. Instead, think about these shoes that you should be wearing that are just free. I mean, this is what they call cursed. When you kids call it, so this is cursed imagery here because that looks freaky. Wearing somebody else's foot as a shoe. In the comments, I love this one. As an amputee, where do I get this detailed foot? You know, amputees, they get like, they just get like the wooden foot thing, or it just looks like a metal bar thing. They're like, no, that looks like a real foot. We smoke every day. Abdullah, no, guy, you're in 9th grade. Don't do that. Get out of here. They're just trolling me now. Stay in school, kids. All right. Here's a video I'd like you guys to watch here. I thought it was pretty funny. This is about these wombats. I don't know if you heard about these wombats. They're kind of freaky. Hit it, Wombat Master.
When a wombat is attacked by predators, it quickly runs back to its
Did you
den
guys
and
know
blocks
this?
the entrance with its butt. This is because a wombat's butt is mostly made of thick cartilage, which is tough and hard for predators to scratch or bite. If a predator tries to follow it into the den, the wombat will use its butt to crush the predator's head against the ceiling. In this way, the wombat can even kill the predator by twerking it to death. When a wombat is attacked
The
by
wombat
predators,
twerks
it quickly
predators
runs back to its
to
den and
death
blocks the entrance
with its
butt.
hard
This is
bone
because
butt.
a wombat's butt is mostly
Is
made
that
of
the
thick
nuttiest thing?
cartilage, which is tough
It
and
makes
hard for
sense.
predators to scratch or bite.
Right? If I'm a wolf,
If a
I'm like, oh, let me
predator
get
tries
that,
to follow
but I
it into the
can't
den,
because it's
the
bone,
wombat will
essentially,
use its butt
cartilage,
to
right?
crush the predator's head against the
And it
ceiling. In this
twerks
way, the wombat
to
can even
kill the
predator by twerking
That's
it.
crazy. That's insane. I know they're like trying to be funny by saying twerking, but that's a real thing. That's why they carve their holes in a certain way, so that way they can crush their predators' heads against the... Damn, that is crazy. Wombats. That's some serious twerkage there. Good job, guys. Next one here. This is a reel I came across. And for future reference, you guys can always send me these through TikTok Messenger, Facebook Messenger, anything, bro. I got my email. Everybody, you all got the cards, so you have all my links there. So if you find funny videos, I play the funny videos at the end because they'll be clips later. But this guy, this is next level thinking, bro. This guy has big brain. Big brain. You guys ever watch Dragon Ball Z? I know you kids probably haven't watched this. There's this guy named Tien, and he does this thing, solar flare. And everybody stole that move because they're like, oh, that's sick. You blind the opponents, and they can't see. Well, this guy did it for the cops, though. Check this out. He used a 100,000 lumen flashlight. So bright that the cop, you literally can't see. By the time the light is away,
Subject is lost.
subject's gone. Look at this. Boom. Get away. Goner. Now, kids, I don't want you speeding away from the cops.
Subject is lost.
But I'm just saying, that is big brain. That is big brain. Who would have thought to use one of those super lights on them? You can't catch what you can't see. I feel, no, kids, do not go get that light because you want to avoid the cops. Just don't get into situations where the cops will need to chase you. See? Don't do the thing in the first place. All right. And then this one from the Metro Detroit Crime Report. They posted this. I said, oh, pretty interesting. An absolute disaster. The $5 Hot and Ready, which became the $5.55 Hot and Ready, is no longer either. The boy is $7.29. At the end, it's a great value of pizza, less than $6. The Hot and Ready pepperoni, which worked is now $7.29 thanks to inflation. And when I saw this, I thought, you know what's funny? It's like that meme where I think it was Spider-Man, Batman. I don't remember what movie it was, but it says, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's what this reminds me of. You know, Little Caesars had that value pizza, $5 pizza since 2003. 2003, it had a $5 pizza, and it kept that price for 10, 12, 15 years. And the second they raised the price, everybody's like, oh, Little C, oh, now it's $5.55, now it's $7. Should have died a hero. Should have just died a hero. Should have just went away. No more cheap pizza for you. Now instead they're the villain. Even though $7.29 is still cheaper than any other pizza you could get. You ain't going to Hungry. You think you're going to Jets? Getting a large pepperoni pizza for $7.29? You're not. You don't. You can't. It's like $10, $12. Domino's, $15. Now me, I'm a Hungry Howie's man. I don't know about you guys. I want you guys to put your favorite pizza in the chat. Let me know what your favorite pizza is. I think as far as regional chains go, Hungry Howie's, to me, has the best pizza. You get that flavored crust, and they let you do whatever you want with the crust. But to me, I like the garlic herb sesame seed, double sesame seed. Let them boys cover the crust in sesame seed. And then I'll just get it cheese, you know. If I'm feeling crazy, I'll do chicken, pineapple, tomato. I know that sounds nuts. Chicken, pineapple, and tomato. That'd be the craziest pizza I'd get if money wasn't an option. I used to get that a lot. But now money is an option, so I don't get chicken. That's like a $2.50 topping. I just get cheese. But yes, Hungry Howie's, I think, has the best chained pizza. You know, chained pizza means the big chains. Domino's, Jets, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, all those places where there's a billion of those different restaurants, okay? Pizza Hut, they got too much cheese. And honestly, their frozen dough they bring in, bro, it's not having it. Domino's is pretty good. I do like me some Domino's, but the crust is lacking. It's lacking. The Hungry Howie's beats them in the crust. I've never in my life had Papa John's. There's been one Papa John's that opened by us. I remember when they first opened, I called them. I said, hey, let me get a Papa John, let me get a pizza. And they said, we're not taking orders right now. I said, you're not taking orders? You answered the phone. They said, oh, we're too busy. We're too busy. We can't take any more orders. I said, then why did you answer the phone? Why did you answer the phone? They're like, oh, just to tell people we're not taking orders. I said, I would have rather you just not answered. I said, what happens if I would have walked into your restaurant right now? You're going to not take my order? And the guy was like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, then I'm not getting Papa John's. And that was 10 years ago or more. I feel like that was 10 years ago, though. And I've never had Papa John's since. So I guess that'll be a monumental occasion the day I try Papa John's again. My dad said a place called Twins Pizza. Twins Pizza. I've never had Twins Pizza. I do like the little chains, though. Now, when we're talking about the mom and pops, I love that. When you can go to a real local place that's like the only place that makes pizza. Cheyenne said really only have a Domino's or mom and pop shops around here. I prefer the handmade, not really known. Yeah, I do too. Now, I'll tell you, I've never released this video, but I did a journey because it's just, once again, I have so much footage. I have so many videos. It's like, where do I have the time to edit them? And then I usually get something where, like the kids, like Jimmy, Abdul, everybody that jumped in. It's like, because they're so hype about it, I want to release their video first. And then the next video comes in. Well, I got the Raising Cane's video. Oh, let me release, and then it just gets pushed off. But I had this video that I was going to title Journey to Find the Best Pizza in Chicago. Sounds interesting, right? You're like, well, Chicago's known for their pizza. What's the best pizza? And so that was my video of the day, was going around. I was trying to ask people, like, hey, what's the best pizza in Chicago? And some people, oh, you got to go to Giordano's. Oh, you got to go to Molestiano's. You got to whatever, all these Italian-sounding Chicago things. And I went to the Apple store, and this beautiful woman, I should have got her number, to be honest. But what do you want me to do? I can't get everybody's number, guys. Anyway, so I asked her, I said, hey, I'm trying to find the best pizza in Chicago. What would you recommend? And she's like, well, it depends. Are you trying to stay like literally in the downtown area of Chicago? And I said, I'm trying to stay at the best pizza in Chicago. I don't care where it is. And she said, well, then I say the best pizza is this place called Pequod's, and it's right on the outside. It's technically the suburbs of Chicago. I can't remember the name. I think it was Lincoln Park, but it's like on the outside of Chicago. She's like, it's a little bit of a journey. You got to take the A train to this and that. It was like a whole thing. She was like, you got to get on this train to go to that train and do this and that. And it's all subways underground. And I was like, okay, it sounds like an epic journey. I'll do that. And then what was funny was then I was like, thank you so much, right? I leave, and then I get, because this Apple store was underground, if you believe it. Like, it was like there was a level, and then you had to go down a bunch of stairs to get inside this Apple store. So I get all the way back to the top, and I'm walking, and I was like, you know what? I should get that lady's name for the video. Not her number. Yes, I know. I understand. I should have got her number. Yes, and I wonder why I'm single. You're absolutely right. I don't wonder why I'm single. I know why I'm single. There's a difference. Anyway, so I run back downstairs, and I said, hey, miss, what's your name? And she's like, I can't remember her name right now in the moment, but when I review the footage, I'll get her name. I think it was Ruth or something. She's not watching right now, so she won't be mad at me. But anyway, she's like, Ruth, but they don't know me there. I'm just a regular customer. She was thinking I was saying like, Ruth sent me. Oh, Ruth told me this is the place. I was like, no, it's for my YouTube channel. I didn't have cool business cards at the time, though. I didn't look all legit. Now, honestly, if I would have handed Ruth one of these, she would have been like, oh, you're Al Silva? That's so legit. How about I write my number on the back of your business card and you go ahead and just take it back? That's how it would have been if I had the legit business cards back in the day, but I didn't, unfortunately. So anyway, I make my journey, and I actually got lost. I got lost on the way to Pequod's. It took this epic journey, but it'll make for a good video. I finally get to Pequod's, and I have this deep dish pizza. It's a little personal 10-inch deep dish pizza. It was the best pizza ever that I've ever had. You know how many thousands of pizzas I've ate in my entire life? To say that that was the best pizza I've ever had has to be the highest accomplishment I think I could ever give anything in my life based on my expertise and experience. I think if there's anything I know, it's a good pizza. And that was the best. Pequod's in the outskirts of Chicago. But the sad part was my phone, the storage filled up towards the end of it. So like I'm trying to do the review where I'm like, luckily I did get like the first bite, the initial impression. But then, at the end of the meal, I was supposed to be like, oh, it's so good. Blah, blah. My phone was full of storage. I said, damn, what the hell? I'm so sick of this phone being full of storage all the time because it's the smallest storage phone. But then I went outside with my iPad. I had a big old iPad. You ever seen people trying to record on their iPad, like with a tripod and stuff? It looks so awkward, bro. But I did it anyway, and everybody outside the shop, they're like, oh, you a YouTuber? Are you doing? I was like, yeah, well, this is my first video. Because it was literally my first video, was technically the whole Chicago experience. I was like, yeah, it's my first video. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm pretty supportive. You know what I mean? Nobody's verbally shitting on you to your face. Nobody's like, oh, well, you only got 10 subscribers? What a loser. Like, nobody says that to your face. But yeah, they probably say it behind your back. They're probably like, oh, just 10 subscribers. What a loser. In their head. So everybody's usually pretty nice in person. But those are the moments where you'd want to be like, oh, there's a line outside of Pequod's, and you just go up with like 30 of these things. And you just said, hey, I just did a video about Pequod's, and you guys are going to be in the B-roll when I show the thing, so why don't you go add my channel? And then you know how people want to like see themselves in things? So they'd be like, oh, this guy, let me go see him. Oh, that's me. You know, like when you see a movie and you're like an extra? And you're like, oh, wait for this one moment where I'm a blur that passes by the main character. That could be everybody. So after today at the Raising Cane's, I was almost running out of business cards because I was handing so many of them out from all the people I was talking to. I was like, man, I got to order hundreds of these because you need to give them away indiscriminately. Everybody that wants, if they want a card, give them a card, bro. If they want a card, they're more likely to scan and click. And that's how I can grow subscribers. It's literally, they call it word of mouth, word of hand. I'm handing them. Go subscribe to me. What better engagement do you got than real life interactions? Which is fantastic. So I liked that pizza segment because I felt like it was a good tie-off. Now I'm just going to do this one last thing simply because I was going to do it with Jason. It would have been more interesting to see his perspective too, but oh well, we're just going to do it by myself because it was something I thought was cool. My kids, they watch this this streamer, this YouTuber, and he's just, I don't know how to put this nicely, but he's just well, he's a fat tub of lard, okay? Like, let's just be real. His content is all about him being fat. It's about him being fat. All his content's about food. All his content's about making fun of how he's fat. It's his brand. And for the kids, they probably know him. It's called Queso. This guy named Queso. Like the cheese, but it's spelled CASE-OH. And he's just a big old fat guy that's leaned into that as his branding. And so he does a lot of these videos where it's like this or that or rank these foods or blah, blah, blah. I saw this and I said, as somebody that's like lived off gas station food from all the traveling I've done, I said, I think I can get with this here. It's which snack from the gas station are you grabbing? And it's a this or that. So the first one we're coming across here, I'll zoom in a little bit. The first one we're going to come across here is either Chex Mix, and this is tough right off the bat because I'm telling you, I love both of these things. But if you had the choice between Chex Mix and Lay's salt and vinegar chips, and you can only choose one, what would you choose? Now, I want you to put your choices in the chat, obviously for engagement, but I am also curious to know what you guys would choose legitimately. Now, this is really tough for me because if anybody knows me, I'd like to say my number one chip, at least for the last decade, would be salt and vinegar chips. Salt and vinegar chips are just, it's a whole nother thing, bro. It's like once you had a salt, you're like, whoa, what is, it's like the tangy, it's like the, whoa, this is fantastic. I was always writing off Chex Mix, though. I was writing it off. One day, and this was only one time, too, and for the longest time, I kept asking for it, and it never got replicated. But one day, my ex-wife made Chex Mix from scratch. Bought the boxes and made the sauce. It was like the Worcestershire sauce and like whatever. It's like this whole thing, and made this and I remember having it. I said, "Whoa, this is fantastic!" I just couldn't stop eating. I was like, "Oh, Chex Mix! Chex Mix is fantastic." I kept asking for it afterwards. "Oh, remember when you made the Chex Mix?" That's probably why we got divorced. Remember when we made the Chex Mix? She's like, "Stop asking about the Chex Mix." Why not make more Chex Mix? I don't know. But ever since then, when I do see Chex Mix and there's not a salt and vinegar option, I would choose it because Chex Mix is really good. I like the Chex when it's flavored. Now, if you've ever had Chex as the cereal, the bland nothingness that it is, you'd be like, this is garbage. But in the mix, they got a special seasoning sauce blend that's like caked into it, and it's fantastic. But I really can't override salt and vinegar. So I think it's going to show us what everybody chose as well in proportion. 52% of people said salt and vinegar. So we are, at least me and Cheyenne are in the majority here. So salt and vinegar wins that battle. All right, here we go. We're on to these two. This is another toughie. Airheads Extremes or Nerds Gummy Clusters. Airheads Extremes or Nerds Gummies Clusters. Now, I don't know about Airheads in particular, but I love sour strips so much. There's this mall by me. It's called Somerset Mall. My kids know it as the really rich, fancy mall because they have like Gucci, Versace. They got like all the really fancy stores on one end. Then they have a skywalk, which is just a moving floor that gets you from the really fancy end to the pretty fancy end, because even the other side is like all these really fancy stores. And so they love going there because all the stores look really fancy. The whole thing looks good. But then they have this candy shop. And in the candy shop, they have all these varieties of sour straws, the sour rope things like those. And those are my if you had to ask me, what's your favorite sour what's your favorite candy in general? I would say it's the sour rope things that are like these Airheads. Now, I wouldn't say Airheads in particular because I'm pretty sure they're like off-branded. But in this case, if you've never had Nerds Gummy Clusters, in which I never had until much later in my adult life. The first time I tried one of those, I said, damn, that is not that one. Where's my arm? That, I can't point at it. Oh, because my hand gets cut off. Those Nerds Gummy Clusters are absolute banging. Absolute banging. My goodness, where have those been my whole life? Not that my dad would have bought Nerds Gummy Clusters because they're ridiculously expensive. A small bag is like $3 or $4. He would have been like, let's get 3 bags of 99-cent Doritos for the same price as Nerds Gummy Clusters, which I would have agreed. 3 bags of Doritos are more valuable than 1 bag of Nerd Gummy Clusters. But man, those Nerds Gummy Clusters are really good. Extreme. My dad says extremes, though. He's an extreme person. That's true. All right, now here we go. This is more for the kids because I know the kids are really about these Takis. Takis Fuego or Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Now, this one's easy for me. It's Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Hands down, I don't even need to think about this too much. Flamin' Hot Cheetos are really good. I can never have too many of them. So if I got Flamin' Hot Cheetos, I get one of those. They used to be 25-cent bags. Now they're like, I think they're 2 for $1 or maybe even more than that. I don't know what the tiny little bags are now because I never buy those. But that's the perfect amount because you get a big bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, you're on fire, bro. You're on fire. You need like to be drinking all sorts of stuff, and it's just bad. Takis, I've had Takis. They taste, I don't know, they taste weird to me. They taste different. Now, I forgot to click on it, so I'm going to click on Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Vast majority. It's not even close. 67% said Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I forgot to click on Nerds Gummy Clusters. Let's see how close that one was. Oh, it's not even close. Nerds Gummy Clusters, 2-1. 2-1 ratio. So we're clearly in the majority for a lot of these snacks here. So far. Let's keep going. Oh, no. This one, for a lot of people, would be tough. Cool Ranch Doritos or sour cream and onion Pringles. This is not tough at all for me. I grew up a Doritos boy. I'm still a Doritos man. So it's Doritos hands down. And honestly, Cool Ranch is one of my favorite flavors. I would actually say taco-flavored Doritos were my favorite flavored Doritos. But man, Cool Ranch is just next level, bro. Every now and then, I mean, I haven't had a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos in over 3 months at this point. But when I used to eat real food before I started trying to lose weight, I used to get a bag or two. A bag or two, look at me, big boy. I always think of this when I go to eat food before. Now it's like it's easy because I'm just on a diet. But I'm like, oh, let me get a second bag of Doritos. Let me get a second bag. And I think of my dad like, oh, Fat Boy wants a second bag of Doritos. Huh? Fat Boy wants an extra thing. Fat Boy wants to grab some of this candy. And sometimes that would talk me out of it. It'd be like, nah, all right, I don't need that. But sometimes I go, yeah, Fat Boy wants an extra bag of Doritos. Yes, Fat Boy wants an extra bag of Doritos. Yes. It's hands down, it's Cool Ranch Doritos. Now, sour cream and onion Pringles are good. They're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're no Cool Ranch Doritos. This was close. This was closer than I thought. Doritos only won by 5%. But so far, we are acing this test, on my end at least. Here we go. Pizza combos or Schneider's honey mustard and onion pretzel pieces. This is oddly specific, honey mustard and onion pretzel pieces. If you just in general said Schneider's pretzels or just, I guess in general said like pretzel bags, you get pretzel sticks or pretzel something else, then I could see this being more competitive. But for me, it's combos. But truth be told, I can't even recall the last time I had combos. It's been so many years, I don't even remember what they taste like. I remember the texture. I remember the crunchy, something like that. But I haven't had combos in a really long time. But yeah, no, if you had two hands and you said in one hand is combos, pizza combos, and another hand is regular pretzels, or even whatever the hell these are, honey mustard and onion, I would say combos because, that's a classic. So I'm going to have to experience that again. Oh, we barely snuck by that one. 54% for the pizza. That's a lot higher. I didn't think anybody knew what those Schneiders were. That's pretty good. Oh, here we go. So, a little bit of health, I guess. Slightly healthy. Grape high chews or vanilla yogurt covered raisins. Right off the bat, I'm thinking neither. Right off the bat, I'm like, what? Grape high chews? I don't even know what that is. High chews? Vanilla yogurt covered? I don't like raisins. I do not like raisins. Raisins are weird to me. I love grapes, though. You give me a grape, I go, yummy, grape time. Give me a bag full of grapes, yum, 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 grapes. But for some reason, you dry them out and you make them all squish, and they're just this squish thing, and I go, oh, this is nasty, bro. What are those? Grapes? They're not grapes no more. They're raisins. That's weird. Now, if I had to choose between these two, I would assume vanilla yogurt-covered raisins sounds more appealing, I would think. I think that'd be like, oh, yeah. I guess a little bit. But, no, I don't know what the hell that is. It looks like a gum covered in yogurt. I don't know what that is. I'm voting for this. The grape high chews won by a large margin. I guess I'm going to have to try a grape high chew at some point. What happens if it's like really good and I've never known? I don't know. Oh, here we go. Now this is a powerhouse battle. Powdered donuts or the chocolate donuts. Whoa. This is next level. I think there's a big debate between these two in the donut community. I don't do this anymore because I'm obviously more money conscious. Plus, I make my kids pancakes because it's just a fulfilling experience for me and them. But it used to be if we're running behind, taking the kids to school or whatever, stop at the gas station, get some donuts. And I know, like, Elliot would like the powdered, Emmett would like the chocolate. But and I like them. I used to like them both. I can see pros and cons. The powdered, I feel like, are better flavor-wise. But then you got the powder all over it, and you're like, oh, is there powder on my face? Is there powder all over my face? You know, or all over my hands, and I'm touching everything with powdered? But yeah, the flavor is there with the powder, but with chocolate, they're easier to eat, easier to manage. You do get that chocolate flavor in. Oh, man, this is a tough one. If I had a glass of milk, I think I would choose chocolate. But if I had to, I was going to say raw dog it. I think the kids are asleep now. If I had to go raw, I think I would say powdered. So my gut's going powdered, I think. Oh, 50. I told you this was going to be a powerhouse battle. 51% went powdered. And it was split in the chat, too, because one of you said powder, one of you said chocolate, too. Here we go. Rice, not even just Rice Krispie Treat. Long Rice Krispie Treat or Hostess Snowballs. I don't think I've ever had one of these snowballs. They just never looked appealing to me. Just looked weird, like a fuzzy pink ball. I don't even know what's in them. That's just weird. Hands down, Rice Krispie Treat. And if you've ever made Rice Krispie Treats, it's like the greatest thing. Because then you get this whole pan. You're like, normally you're used to getting a little square. You're like, oh, Rice Krispie Treat. Oh, I get this little square. Oh, that was enjoyable. You make them at home. You get this whole pan. And you're like, wow, I can eat like 20 of these. Now, obviously, I can't eat 20 of these anymore. But I'd look at it and I'd go, wow, that's pretty good. Rice Krispie Treat. That'd be fantastic. Oh, it's just marshmallow covered in coconut shavings. I'm not really big on marshmallow. Now, Jason would have been like, oh, man. Jason, let me tell you about a story about Jason. Back when we used to live together. He used to get like the tub of marshmallow. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just the tub and you could scoop out marshmallow and spread it on stuff. And he would just eat it. He would just be like, oh, I'm eating marshmallow. But then he'd also make like peanut butter marshmallow and marshmallow fluff. He would just make marshmallow sandwiches, like just wait. And I'm just like, oh no, I can barely stand marshmallows themselves. I think it was because one time I was like, as an adult, you realize you could just buy whatever you want. You don't need a reason. Like, when you're a kid, you got to ask your parents, like, hey, can we get us something? And then there has to be reason behind it. There has to be like, oh, well, whatever. When you're an adult, you could just like kind of buy whatever you want. So I remember one day I was like, oh, I'm going to buy a big old bag of marshmallows. Oh, how cool. And then I'm sitting there at home playing video games, eating like marshmallows. Just, nom, nom, nom. And I think I ate so many marshmallows, I just got sick of them, bro. I was like, oh, and then now the texture, even thinking about it, is just like kind of making me sick a little bit. Now, I will enjoy me a s'more. And a s'more needs the marshmallow to complete that experience. But beyond a s'more, I stay away from the marshmallows. So I'm going to vote Rice Krispie Treat. That wasn't even close. 75%. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. This is absurd. Pickle in a pouch or the gas station hot dog. Now, if we're just talking some random gas station, I did not pick pickle in the pouch. It clicked it for me. I would have never, ever bought the pickle in the pouch. Well, that's not true. I feel like I would have bought one of those at some point. But no, I would have totally got the gas station hot dog. Specifically Speedway. Because me and Mario go to Speedway at least once a week, anytime we go to band practice. And we usually do band practice twice a week now. He always gets a hot dog. I don't get any food. But man, those hot dogs do look appetizing. And I did have a hot dog, I'd say about a month ago. We were on the way to Dylan's house, and there was like no other food options or something. And we stopped at a 7-Eleven Speedway because they're now merged. And I was like, oh, the hot dogs, are they all beef? And they're like, yeah, they're all beef. And they say it, all beef hot dogs. And I said, you know what, I'm going to have a hot dog. And it was good. It was fantastic. So I would have definitely picked the hot dog, not the damn pickle. I can't believe it accidentally clicked the pickle. No way. No way. All right, I think we're towards the end here. It looks like we got like 3 more. All right. This one's tough. Cosmic Brownie or Pop-Tart s'mores. And you can even substitute any Pop-Tart, right? Some people like the strawberry. Me, give me that maple brown sugar Pop-Tart? It's like having your own little pie. Your own little pocket pie. The s'mores Pop-Tart's pretty good too, but it ain't no maple brown sugar. But I think we'll be all in consensus here. The Cosmic Brownie is like the GOAT of go-to snack. Like, you know what I mean? You get the box of the Cosmic. I remember having like, going over for, we're going to this, going to Jason's house or something like that. And we're like, oh, we got to load up on snacks. And then you go to the store and you got to get the box of Cosmic Brownies. Like, this is GOAT-worthy stuff. So this shouldn't be close, I would assume. It's closer than I thought. 64 to 36%. Oh, Slim Jim or white cheddar popcorn. Now, only my dad would know about this because I don't think they just don't exist anymore. But back in the day, they used to have this box of beef sticks, and they weren't in wrappers. They were just beef sticks, and they had teriyaki, original, pepperoni, hot. They had a spicy one, peppered, and you just got these beef sticks that were not wrapped, so they weren't all mucky. And so, when you open a Slim Jim, it's like snap into a Slim Jim, and they're all like greasy, and it's just like, oh, this is weird. But they weren't like that, and they were just meaty, and they tasted fantastic. I never see them anywhere. That was a large portion of my childhood was eating these particular beef sticks. Can't find them. They must have went out of business. Once we stopped buying the beef sticks, I guess they stopped making money. We were the only ones buying them. But if I had to choose between these two, because I can't choose that one particular beef stick that doesn't exist anymore, I'm going to say Slim Jim. I do like the white cheddar popcorn, or even if it was just regular Smart Pop popcorn. My dad said it was the Marathon gas station. Because I feel like they had them at other places too, but it's like, I think maybe especially maybe after COVID. Like, I don't know if they had them before COVID, but you know what I mean? Because they weren't individually wrapped, people were probably weirded out. They're like, oh, man, what do you mean? You just grab one of the sticks? There's like 20 sticks in here. Yeah, you just grab one. They're like, no, that's weird. I want everything individually wrapped. And maybe that's why people were weirded out, the fact that they weren't individually wrapped like Slim Jims are. Let's go Slim Jim. Wow, Slim Jim lost hard. I did not see that coming. I can't believe that many people. I mean, the white, popcorn's good and all, but They're no Slim Jims. They're no Slim Jims. All right. Honey roasted peanuts or flaming hot peanuts? I've never had flaming hot peanuts. It sounds appealing to me, though. I'm willing to try it, but that wouldn't be no go-to. I remember the first time trying honey roasted peanuts, though. I did give them a shot because I said, that's weird, because I already told you how I like peanuts, walnuts, all that stuff. And I was like, honey roasted, what's that about? And I tried them, and it's like candy peanuts. I said, whoa, they're like got that sweetness to them, but they're still peanutty. This is fantastic. My dad's gonna be like, neither. I'd die. I die. These are peanuts. You're right. You can't have these. But no, it's not even close. Honey roasted. And the people spoken. It's not even close. Who is great? First of all, I've never grabbed one of these sandwiches. If anybody's seen like Futurama, there was an episode where Fry, the main character, decides to get a gas station sandwich, and then like it turns out they had like parasites in them, and then they like live inside his brain, and it's a whole thing. And I like that kind of freaked me out. And so I would never get a gas station sandwich. I don't know when they made them. I don't know when they checked these things. I don't even want to click on one of these things. I would never. Now, the only gas station that I would maybe trust in buying a sandwich, and very few people would know this because you'd have to be from an area that has them, particularly Texas, would be Buc-ee's. Because the Buc-ee's do it well. Now, if you've never been to Buc-ee's, it's like you can't even call it a gas station. It's like a market, restaurant, gas station, store. Like, they're huge. They got like 60 gas station terminals. The store is, where you'd go inside to pay for gas. It's as big as a small store, like I don't even know. I don't want to say think of like half of a Walmart. Like, it's not as big as no damn Walmart, but it's giant, absurdly giant. And they have all sorts of food options. They got a real restaurant in there that they're cooking food at. They got grab and goes. They're nuts. I'm not choosing one of those. Oh, but that's the last one. Okay, well, I'm obviously not choosing ham. I'm choosing turkey, but I would never, ever eat one of these. And it was 61. All right, we made it to the end. What did I think? I'm going to give it a heart because they did well. I was hoping for neither on that last one, but I don't know how turkey is winning. Ham has a better shelf life and a better chance of not getting you sick. I didn't know that. But I guess I could assume that. But no, not for me. It would definitely get me sick. Fantastic. So that was a this or that. I'm hoping to have more this or that's. Once again, these are all things that you can make suggestions. Message me. The after party is just the random grab bag of bulls, either videos or this or that's, or I don't know, if there ends up being like random games or something like that. Stuff that doesn't fit the other categories. It's at the end of the show where if you weren't hardcore, you're not still here. You know what I mean? This is the section for the people that are actually waiting 2 hours to get to the end like you guys, or somehow 3 hours again because I could just never make a commitment to stop on time. That's just how it is these days. But I've reached the end of today's show. I know Jason wasn't here, and I say this all the time. I have no problem doing this show by myself. As you can see, I just talked for 3 hours straight. I can do this job like it's nothing. I told you it's like breathing air. But I like talking with my best friend. I like showing him stuff. When I'm picking these articles up, I go, can't wait to show Jason this. Can't wait to have a talk with Jason about this. Can't wait to see what Jason's going to say about this. You know what I mean? Like this, when I'm preparing the show, I'm like, that's, in my mind, that's how this show started. Was just, these are things I, throughout the week, prepare to show Jason, and because he's remote from me, we would Skype or FaceTime, and I would be showing him this. Everything we just did today, it would just be a conversation between me and Jason. And I said one day, what happens if I recorded it? Or obviously we're in the future, so live streamed. And that's how this show came about. So I want to commit to doing this show every week, regardless of who I have on, whether it's by myself or with a guest, or obviously with Jason. But no, I definitely miss my friend Jason, and every time Walmart takes him from me, I get a little angrier. Not at Jason, but at Walmart. But as we all know, I have no problem doing this, so I'll just do it every week. Because like we said, when I was talking at the beginning of the show, you'll never get to 500, 1,000, 500,000, 1,000,000 subscribers. You don't get to the end without the grind all the way, regardless. And I can't let everybody stop me. I tried doing a live streaming show for the last 3 years. In 2022, I purchased equipment, the first initial equipment, because I was like, oh, I'm going to have my friends over, and I'm going to have my band over, and we're going to be doing a weekly live stream and blah, blah, blah. And every time somebody would be like, oh, can't make it. Oh, can't do this. Oh, can't do that. And I was always waiting on somebody else. Waiting. I said, no. And then I finally got Jason on board, and he's like, yeah. And then we were consistent for a little bit. Now I was waiting on Jason. I said, nope. I'm not even waiting on Jason. I'm going full force all the way until I reach the top. And I'm taking you people with me. You guys are the OGs. So when I do get those emotes, I will make sure that the initial group, and then my dad, obviously, you're going to get one that says like dad. It's like the only one that gets like the dad one, because I only have the one dad. But each one of you will get your initial special limited edition emotes that only you can be able to emote in the chat, and it'll be pretty cool. And then people are gonna be like, oh, how'd you get that emote? And then my dad's gonna be like, I'm his dad. And then Cheyenne's gonna be like, I was the first fan. And it's gonna be sick. You'll be able to talk to other people, just like when we had the kids come in. It was fantastic. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. I appreciate it. For everybody that watched the show and then they popped out, I appreciate you as well. The kids that came in, go to bed. Hopefully you're in bed. I will post that video at some point in the next week. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. But I'm getting the heck out of here. Good day.
I'm sorry, everyone. The show's over, but we thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. We're out of here.
You what?
Good day.
Are you ready?